What is going on, everybody? It is episode 421 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I'm here with my co-host. Would you please introduce yourself?
Hi, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. Happy Friday. Today we, as usual, have some special guests in the studio who you guys have already met, but I got to meet them for the first time today. Heather and Derek Hunter.
How you guys doing?
Hi.
You want to introduce yourself? Tell everybody what you do.
Hi, I'm Heather Hunter. I work in radio broadcasting. I'm also a news writer. Also have a homeschool podcast. And
That makes sense because you have a very calming radio voice.
Very very calming, right? Like there's a book writer.
When she's not on mic, she sounds like Bobcat Goldthwait.
Exactly.
And that to my left is Derek. Introduce yourself. Tell everyone what you do.
I'm Derek Hunter. I was born a coal miner's daughter in a cabin in the hill in Butcher Holler. I'm a podcaster, senior columnist for Town Hall. I don't know. I'm a bunch of things. Just search my name. You'll find me.
Do a lot of stuff.
I do a lot of stuff.
Stay busy.
Self-dentistry, home dentistry. If you've got no insurance, call to me.
Sounds dangerous.
Sounds very, very dangerous.
Not for me.
Guys, we got a bunch of stuff to talk about today, but before we get into all that, would you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. Please remember that all Super Chats, $20 and over, we will interrupt the discussion. We will read them right then and there, and then I will do my very best to get through my foggy brain and get right back on topic. I'm getting better at that. So we got a bunch of stuff to discuss. We're going to talk about Roseanne Barr, who was just here on IRL recently, and people got very mad when I said that I wasn't here to meet her. She is getting her own, what is being described as a anti-woke television show. I hate that term.
I'm so tired of the term. Like, I understand what you're trying to say, but I don't know.
Can I just say something here?
Yes.
For the next 20 to 25 minutes? But no, I'm so sick of these people. Like, I'm a conservative comedian. I'm a conservative band. Just don't suck, all right? How about you be funny? We'll worry about your politics later. You're making a TV show. How about you make it entertaining? Whatever else it is, it can be that thing, but it should be first and foremost entertaining. And instead you go, no, we're Madison Rising. We're a conservative rock band. Like, no, but you suck. That's the problem, is you suck. Like, how about you focus on not sucking and your politics can be secondary? She comes out, she's talented, she's had more TV shows than I have, so what the hell do I know? But she's sitting there going to make an anti-woke, just make a good show. Just make a good show. That should be the only criteria.
It really is the only thing that should actually matter for all of this stuff.
I love how the story also is, it's a 6-figure deal. Well, 6 figures is not that much if you're a celebrity. I mean, that's...
Yeah. We're going to talk about it. We'll get into it. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about reality stars are going to war with NBC Universal over what they're calling to be exploitation going on in the reality TV division. It's not good. It's not good. So
people without talent complaining about getting work.
Yeah. Hold on, guys. I gotta.
What's wrong?
My audio. I just.
Oh, you sound a little bit echoey.
Yeah. There might not be anything I can do about that. Okay, they're saying it sounds better now. All right. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about Gwyneth Paltrow, who is out of touch with the world, and I love it. It's my favorite thing about her, actually. Like, she makes absolutely zero attempt to actually fit in with society, but she is looking to cure loneliness by charging you money to spend time with her at her Airbnb. So you go, Queen. I guess. Well, we'll talk about that. Also, remember Collie Guy, who wore the Collie suit? He's back, except for it's a different guy, and he's wearing a wolf suit. It's a weird.
Well, then he's not back.
It's back. Then the concept is back. Don't correct me.
It's becoming a trend.
Yes,
basically.
Don't correct me. Don't correct. I have a no correction policy here.
It's too late.
Sorry.
Stop being wrong.
Yeah, fair enough. We got a bunch of other stuff to talk about. If you guys are ready, we will get right into it. Derek, are you ready?
Let's do it.
Mary, you ready?
Yes.
Heather.
No, wait. Okay.
Okay, fantastic. All right, let's get started. Actually, the first announcement is a little bit of a sad one. Mark Margolis, the actor, he has passed away. He was 83 years old. A lot of people know him from Breaking Bad. I just know him as the guy who, if you watched any amount of like regular television, he was a guest star on everything.
He was great. He rang that bell in Breaking Bad, and he made a character out of somebody who couldn't talk. And then when they did flashbacks, you're like, oh my God, I thought maybe he was so convincing. But he's one of those guys, like the guy who played the most interesting man in the world. I highly recommend that if you have the DVR, you set it for Love Boat episodes, You said it for Fantasy Island episodes. You said it for Charlie's Angels episodes.
Yeah.
They don't come on very often, but just wherever they are, catch them and watch them. And you'll see people like this. First of all, you'll see television you can't make anymore because it's wildly hilarious, sexist, racist, homophobic, everything. But you'll see that guy. You'll see everybody you see now that are like character actors and everything. You'll go, my God, they were like leading men back in the 70s.
Yeah.
So check him out because I guarantee you he killed at least 3 people on Charlie's Angels.
Well, it's one of my favorite things about like movies. Like if you look at a Christopher Nolan movie, like when we were, did you guys see Oppenheimer?
No.
Not yet.
Like okay, so
I
everybody.
know how it
that's-
ends.
Everybody that's on the committee, right? Everyone that's on the committee, like all the old, they're not super important characters. They're all like leading men on television, but in a Nolan movie, they're going to play secondary characters. But I like seeing that because they can get the really, really good actors to play less important roles. That's always kind of cool to see. So yeah. Oh, by the way, married for 61 years. Married. There's
Brett was
hope.
trying to white pill me on marriage with this.
It was to 14 different women at various lengths of time. But, total is... No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Impressive.
No, but that's good for him.
Yeah, 61 years. That's a long time to be married in an industry where, being faithful to someone isn't exactly the most reasonable thing. People don't
So I
seem
got
to
to
fall
assume
into
his
that.
wife is still with us.
Yes, she is still alive. It's his wife Jacqueline. I was telling somebody the story that Chris O'Donnell, like he left mainstream Hollywood and went to he left like big budget films and went to television because he got married.
He left.
Well, no,
he
that's-
left.
he did a-
He left. The casting director stopped calling, and then somebody said, "Well, you could try TV."
He said that
That's
he
not saying
wanted
that he
to-
left.
Yeah.
No.
I'm just telling you what he
tell
said. I'm telling you what he
you
said.
tell Spielberg I
I'm
said
telling
no.
you what
I
he
said
said.
no. There's a CSI with my name on it.
Yes.
You tell Spielberg you go right to hell.
And he said that that doing the big, now it could be a cope. It could absolutely be a cope, but for a
Sort
lot
of like
of them,
when conservatives are like, I left Hollywood.
Yeah,
but it's like he went and but he's still like, that's where you make the money, right? Is being a leading man on a show that's on air for 12
Oh,
years.
if you can get 100 episodes and you go into reruns, man, you're an easy
he's
street.
making tons of money, but he said that he did it because he wanted to be close to his wife and kids. He didn't want to be traveling to shoots all over the world 6 to 8 months out of the year so that he could actually raise his family. And in an industry, we can make fun of him, but Hollywood doesn't put a lot of focus on family. So hearing even a little bit of time put to that is nice.
Well, even Emily Blunt, I mean, we saw that she recently said that she's taking a break,
Yeah.
to be with her kids. And
Tom
so
Holland,
that's-
too.
It's amazing what having millions of dollars allows people to do. Like,
And her
I know,
husband is doing pretty well.
I'm taking a break. Okay.
Who's Emily Blunt married to?
John Krasinski.
Yeah.
Oh, they're married in real life.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Like,
Yeah.
so
You
they
didn't know
play.
that?
I didn't know that.
That's
Too
like
many
the
short
biggest
order cooks
slice
going,
of
you know
life
what, I'm
thing
not going to the
about-
bacon circuit this year.
Well, it's like
I'm going
the
to spend
people-
some time with the family.
During COVID, the actors are like, got to take some time off. 15 days to slow the spread. It's like, well, I can't afford 15 days to
Yeah.
slow the spread, but I guess.
I constantly think when I watch Quiet Place, that movie that they acted together, where
so
the
good.
aliens, if they hear a sound, they come after you. With little children, everyone's dead because it just.
In fairness, they did lose one of the kids.
Bunker.
Yeah, but how do you create that soundproof bunker? There's not a lot of prep time when aliens are taking over your planet to create.
But once they get it,
bunker.
you got some time. It seemed like there were like maybe a couple of dozen aliens on the planet because they could go a long way without ever seeing them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway.
There's a prepper somewhere who built a bunker, I'm sure.
they're
Maybe
advanced.
not for that specifically.
I had a crazy uncle who did build a bunker. Yes, he wrote a book, and I guess I don't want to dox him by saying the name of the book, but he believed like aliens were disguised as inanimate objects and things like that.
Or live in the ocean.
Probably it was one of those many books. People could easily find out who this person is because there can't be that many books who recognize that this is an alien.
I won't say the
I had a-
title of the book.
My best friend in high school, his father built their house out of cinder blocks and things back in the 60s, and he built a concrete ceilinged nuclear fallout shelter in the basement with a very small window because it was different times than you did. All you really had to do was get under your desk and you.
I was going to say, so he didn't take the get under the desk approach.
No, well, he make sure you don't look at the window as the blast happens. But other than that,
Well, that's part of Oppenheimer too. Is everybody looking out the window with the goggles on?
It's like
Yeah.
when Trump and Melania looked directly at the eclipse.
Or what's the point of getting under the desk if the bombs going off?
That
gonna
was
save you.
the
Well,
50s. It was a different time.
But they also say the same thing. It's like when they say your plane's crashing, your seat can be used as a flotation device. Well,
Yeah.
if this,
The eclipse that happened in like 2017 or something? Was it 2018 ish? I just remember like I was in high school when that happened. They brought all of us out of class to watch it happen, but they wouldn't let us look up
You
at
have
the
to put
sky.
like a shoebox on your face to watch it.
Something like that.
Yeah, I love these contraptions. Like, I'll just look at the pictures. I got a good sense of it.
I think there's a bunch of people who had terrible vision afterwards because there was cheap glasses on the market.
There's just stupid people too.
to see
Like,
those,
if I
too.
look really quickly,
They're dumb.
Yeah.
There's a $20 one right there from Benrick 5.
He said, okay, first of all, I'm only a little crazy, and wait, my dream is 20 acres in a bunker, so judge if you must. But when the USD falls, I will be laughing when I get in my bunker.
I'm not judging
Fingers
you for your
crossed.
I'm
bunker.
down with bunkers.
No,
man.
there's
Go
plenty
for it.
of, you work here and you hear plenty of people who can give you very, very reasonable explanations as to why it would be pretty good idea
I don't think
to
you're
own a
crazy.
bunker somewhere.
Yeah.
see, but
No.
once people know you have a bunker, that's where they go. You need
Right.
the weapons.
You don't tell them.
The weapons to be able to take somebody else's bunker or a passport
Post
from a
Malone
second
has a bunker,
country.
doesn't
He does. Or he built like something behind his, but he moved to Vegas, right?
I think he moved to Utah.
Was it Utah? I thought it was Vegas, but it could have been Utah. But yeah,
If you
but
know where the
he's,
bunker is, what good is the bunker?
well, he doesn't, people know where he moved to. They're
a
not saying
general
the bunker may be in
location.
another location,
It
right?
doesn't blend all that well.
Now-
I think
no.
it'd
Now,
be pretty
if you
hard,
list-
pretty easy to find.
If you're trying to sell the house, do you list that on the real estate? Yeah,
You
like,
probably have to, right?
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
Well, he's like, well, I don't have to, I suppose, but like, I want to get the money I put into this. Like,
it might
it
actually
raises
add
the
value.
property
Wouldn't
value.
It's like adding a pool. Like we have a bunker too.
I think it's the same thing for like safe rooms in houses. I think you
Yeah.
have to disclose that there's a safe room on property.
I had a real estate friend who actually said that she couldn't. There's certain until the house was actually sold, she couldn't disclose that there was a safe room because they didn't want people to find
Because you
out
just
where the safe room
toured it.
was.
Makes perfect sense. Makes perfect. That was actually the plot of the very first episode of Elementary, which was the Johnny Lee Miller version of Sherlock that was on network television. Like he like basically finds a safe room where they find a dead body, and then they're like trying to like talk to the husband. They're like, it's your own house. You probably killed her. He's like, I didn't know that safe room was in there.
Yeah, how many people looked at it and said, you know what, if it had like 100 square feet more, I'd go for it. And then like, it's there, but I can't tell you anything until you write an offer.
All right. So rest in peace to Mark Margolis. That is very, very sad. But do take the fact that he was married for 61 years as a sign that it can work, even in industries like Hollywood. So, all right. The Las Vegas police have dropped the battery lawsuit against Cardi B.
Big surprise
Big surprise. Did anybody actually think she was going to even pay a fine for something?
I'm
like
surprised
this?
they went as far as they did and like investigating. I mean, there's video of her
It's
doing it.
they said insufficient evidence.
There's
like,
video
there's
of her
literally
doing
a
it.
video of her doing it, yeah. And throwing it at the wrong person, by the way.
I think the fact is that the police went to talk to her and they just wanted her to stop talking. And they just said, you know what, we'll forget the whole thing. Just stop talking.
Well, didn't the woman throw a drink at her?
She
and-
threw water at
which
her.
she apparently
But she
had
was
asked
asked
people
for.
to do earlier in the
encouraging
concert.
all of the audience to do it, and she was like, put that in my P word.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
As classy people do.
Yes.
Say things like that. My favorite is there's been amazing memes and videos that have come out of people who do the reactions where it's like where they cut to like them and then they insert themselves in the shot. So this guy has one where it's him watching her do this, and then she turns around and throws the mic and it hits him in the head, and then it falls into his cup. So this guy had to go out, find a microphone, and then like put it in a cup. And I appreciate the creativity when people go out and do stuff like that. But she was never going to get in trouble
No, she
for
was.
this.
If she'd have kicked him. I love how the security comes out. She throws the mic and security comes out like, hey, what are you doing? Like, it's water. They threw it at her. She asked for it. What are you going to do? Stage dive and kill this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Whatever.
she asked for it. There are legit concerns if you're a famous person. Someone might throw acid at you or something that is dangerous.
She didn't think
but
about that.
Yeah.
Well, and
But
like in Hollywood
getting
right
You
now,
could
angry.
have stopped that sentence 2 words earlier.
She didn't think.
yeah.
Yeah.
But also, like right now, it's a big issue with musicians getting stuff thrown at them. We keep seeing
Oh, yeah.
repeatedly. BB Rexa, Ava Max, who is the other one just recently.
Harry Styles.
Harry Styles.
Pink received the ashes of one of her fans' mothers.
Yeah.
But haven't women been throwing panties at,
I always listen to
A little bit different.
There's a video of the lead singer from Muse going like he's walking along stage and it's literally just nothing but underwear hitting him in the legs. So he's a guy. He's not going to complain about it. He's fine with that. I don't.
It's also, you're not going to lose an eye.
No,
You're
exactly.
going to do something with it.
Also that mic sold for like $100,000.
Wow.
I don't know how they do that. I was like, maybe
What?
that's why. Maybe they couldn't
The
get
mic
the evidence
keeps
because the
through
mic got
already?
sold rather than getting
There's
confiscated for
video
evidence.
of it. You don't need the evidence.
Also, her music just kept going. Like her actual
I
vocal,
know, I do
her
love the
vocal
fact
track
that-
kept going. It's like, whoa, Milli Vanilli.
Did
High
not even
voltage
come
75.
close to stopping.
We got one from High Voltage 75. Welcome back, guests. What do you think of Brett's new hair color? He's showing the world how much he loves
Hey!
the Barbie movie.
Hey, that's rewriting history. That's lying. I don't appreciate the lying. That's not what happened.
You just wanted to be Ryan Gosling.
Do you even beach, bro?
I beach. No, like I lost a bet where we got a certain amount of crisis parties, and I said I will dye my hair if you do that. They obliged, and as a man of my word, I followed through and I did it. Now it needs to be trimmed already, and it's a whole thing that's going to cost tons of money and be a problem.
That's not much of a bet. Going a natural color. You do blue. You do pink.
Well, no,
You do
No, but he
something
was
like
darker,
that.
though. I mean,
I-
the
No, I know
blonde-
that, but I mean, it's not like
The blonde
bet
prince-
was I'll dye my hair a different shade of brown. Like that's not really a bet. I'll do pink hair
it's
for a
not
month.
blonde. It's
or
not
something.
brown. It's blonde.
No, I
Blonde-
know
the
that. It's a
blonde
natural
transition.
color. It's
Okay,
a color that
okay.
occurs in nature.
And it's funny. I actually literally said to her, I said, "Can you make it like the most natural blonde?" you
No,
can?"
that's cheating.
I want a champagne blonde.
I was like,
No, it's not
I-
cheating. It's smart lawyering. You
I
gotta
showed her a
put the stuff-
picture, and she goes,
you
"Oh,
gotta
so
be
you want a
very
natural
specific.
blonde?" I'm
Because
like, "Yes, please."
last time this happened, I just slapped the strongest bleach I had on Brett's hair and let it rip.
Probably destroyed it, which is sad
Yeah.
because
Just orange.
my dad is like 77 and still has a full head of hair. If that doesn't happen, I'm suing you and I'm suing everyone in the chat today.
Okay, we've
for
got
this.
one from Susan Duran. She said, I now refer to Twitter as Twix, and I hope it catches on and the Mars Candy Company can cash in.
That's a good idea. That's a fair one.
The
Also,
Mars family's so weird and paranoid that if it caught on, they'd probably sue.
is the Mars like so? Mars Candy's like that's a family brand.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
M&M's Mars, it's privately owned, and the original story for the original script for E.T. had not Reese's Pieces, but M&M's. And they refused to let Steven Spielberg use it, so they came up with Reese's. They used Reese's Pieces, which put Reese's Pieces on the map. So yeah, they're very private family.
Someone said, wow, I'm hot and it requires high maintenance. Boo-hoo, Brett.
Leave me alone. I'm here to complain, and it's my right as a straight white
not
male in
easy to
America
be a fake blonde.
to complain. Yeah, to be a fake blonde. Also, I want to point out the Milli Vanilli comment is funny because the Milli Vanilli comment is funny because they got brought up recently because there's a documentary about them that came out where they're basically like, we're not the bad guys, like we didn't do anything wrong. And to be fair, like nobody expects rappers to sing. Like it's not the same thing. It would be a thing if we were talking
Cardi
like
B is not doing cardio during her show, and she's not singing, so it's not like she
Yeah.
couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
Well,
It's just that she doesn't want to.
I know Jason, the singer Jason Derulo's talked about that because his shows are like heavily dance number oriented.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's very hard to be in the type of shape where you can sing and and perform at the same time. Right. So,
Absolutely.
but Cardi B isn't exactly doing that. Not in that sense. So, all right. I need to get your guys' opinion on Barbie. The chat's going to hate us because they hate
man.
talking about Barbie. But Greta Gerwig's Barbie has now surpassed Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It is now the second highest grossing film of the year, right behind Super Mario Brothers, which is over $1 billion. And I know that you guys went and saw it. Husband and wife went and saw it.
Now, we went to see it because we have a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old
Okay.
daughters,
But-
not just because we're like, hey, what do you want to do?
Wasn't
Let's go.
exactly kid-friendly for
It
all
was,
the content
you know, it was
there.
kid-friendly.
Was it?
Because
No.
the kid has no idea what the hell the movie's about. They see the colors, they see the Barbie, they see
They
see the
were
Barbie dream
referring to
houses.
genitalia.
They have no idea what that is. They
yeah,
don't
but they're
know.
going to want to know. So
They didn't. Have you been asked? I haven't been asked. They loved
They ask
when the
me
car
questions all the
When the
time.
car flips over twice, when the Barbie dream car flips over twice, they audibly laughed out loud. That's the level you're dealing with little kids. I enjoyed it. I thought Ryan Gosling was hilarious as Ken. I thought he was brilliant. He should probably get a nomination. It was an awesome performance. I laughed at his performance. There was some PC BS in there, but it wasn't the crux of it. And I got past it because I knew that I was there because the kids wanted to see it. And they aren't going to get all the PCBS. They like the colors. They like, there's Barbie, there's this. Look at the dream. Look at that. It looks like our Barbie dream house.
How did you feel about it?
She was physically angry.
Well, I had read all the reviews, and I had actually appreciated the Indiana Jones movie that was recently ripped on, and so I thought, well, maybe it could be good, and everyone's just trying to rip on it just for the sake of ripping on it. So, and also our girls are into Barbie, so and I grew up with Barbie, so I thought, well, okay.
I will say
let's
Barbie
see how it
never
is.
meant anything to me.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, you couldn't go, they ruined my childhood.
But they said
they
if
make the
you-
trans G.I. Joe movie.
If you hate Barbie,
I'd
then the
probably go,
movie
"That's a
is
little
for
bit
you.
ridiculous."
If you don't care about Barbie, the movie is for you. That's what
I
they
think
said.
if you're not emotionally invested at all in Barbie, you probably won't care one way or the other.
I was, as we were watching it, I was getting more and more frustrated watching it because I have appreciation for the quality of the film. I think the film visually is beautiful. It's, she had a great crew around her to make it a Hollywood movie. The colors, the set design, the casting. I mean, she had everything on the checklist of what you really should have in the Barbie movie.
Yeah.
And is it expected that Greta Gerwig is going to spin it the way she did? Yeah. And the things that she did, I kind of, from a script writing perspective, go, okay, that's clever, that's interesting, but it wasn't a kid movie, and so I would have appreciated more if it was more of like a rom-com. And I mean, at the end of it,
They should have gotten together at the end of it, as far as I'm concerned.
At the end of it, she
And done what?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Barbie doesn't even like Ken.
Yeah.
They asked Barbie in the end,
She
like,
pities him.
They asked her, "Do you even like Ken?" And she's like, "No." And it's like, what? This is like,
She's a defective Barbie.
Yeah.
She doesn't like
Because
Ken.
as an individual, Ken is void. He
Yeah,
exists to worship Barbie. Barbie wants more for herself.
But Barbie for girls growing up, though, I mean, it is, the dream house. You're fantasizing what your life as a little girl, what it could be as an adult. And so Barbie's got this perfect life, and obviously I'm not going to buy a pink house one day, but, she's got Ken, and she's got this life that she's building. And even, when you're a kid, there's also babies, and there's, perfect outfits. And for little girls, that's something. But for that movie, it was, the men in the movie, the patriarchy, the men were dumb and juvenile, and it made men look stupid. I didn't appreciate, I mean, even if she wasn't into Ken, I think that the lessons we're teaching in society already, there's already studies showing how people are fewer people are getting married and all this. And it teaches this kind of independent view of how women should be without men, should be without, aspiring to families. And I think they really should aspire to that. And I realize Barbie's probably 20 something in this movie. But I think there's a value in promoting that she wants to be with Ken. I think there's a value for girls to actually want to have connection and to want to build a family.
Connection.
She should have
Yeah,
gone for
connection.
Alan.
I would be okay
Yeah.
with a Ken
Alan.
solo film. That I would
Yeah.
watch. I would watch the Ken solo
I
film.
thought
See, whereas
Gosling-
I didn't bring any baggage with it. I just said, this is the movie. There it is. I'm going to watch it, and when it's done, it's over.
Also, she was excited to go to a gynecologist appointment ending the movie.
I thought that was hilarious.
Well,
And we saw it at a drive-in, so, that was really...
I mean, her mother was actually
She had to go to a
gynecological nurse
gynecologist
in real life.
She had to go to a
Greta Gerwig.
gynecologist for the first time because she finally had something for a gynecologist to check out.
But they were so
She was a
obsessed-
real girl at that point.
Well, they were so obsessed with gender in the movie. But the thing is, they didn't have any. They kept also pointing out how they had no biological body parts either.
Right.
So why are you obsessing? I mean, it's this trans world in Barbie.
It's not true.
and
It's comedy. It's called comedy. It was a funny
no,
line.
no. It has this
It
obsession.
was a funny line.
No,
It was essentially saying that all gender is performance, which is not true.
Yeah. And then, the guys are even asking at the end, can we be on the Supreme Court? And the women are like, no. So let's promote discrimination. Let's make men feel like they can't be a part of it. I realize I'm politicizing it, but
Yeah.
also when you have little girls, I feel like I don't want that
We're
message.
going, look
Well,
at
it's
that
just-
car flip over and laughing and
I'm
going,
also-
Barbie, look at the
You never
pretty
know
dress.
if a
Like,
feminist director is going to surprise you like Elizabeth Banks with Cocaine Bear. So I thought it could be good.
That could be brilliant.
We
Yeah.
didn't even cover her once again trying to just change history and pretend like she didn't make Charlie's Angels all about feminism, like the evil witch that she is. You don't get to rewrite history, Elizabeth. Elizabeth Banks.
The
Pitch
second-
Perfect does
the
not get you
second
a
Charlie's
pass.
Angels is one of the all-time worst movies ever.
Well, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the reboot that Elizabeth Banks made.
Oh
in
no,
2019.
God, that one that was terrible. I even forgot.
No,
that
we're not. We're
existed.
not talking about Full Throttle. Nobody liked Full
That
Throttle.
was terrible, but it was the one you're talking about
Yes.
is worse now that the years of therapy have just been wiped clean.
I,
and I remember.
but I get Derek's point about, yes, it is just a movie. But also, I mean, the reason why our kids are the way they are today is because culture does dominate how they view the world. And so, when politics means so little to children, but culture and what's in movies means a lot.
There's
That's
a
how
time
they
to have
view
that
things.
conversation with the kids is not when they're 6 and 4.
Yeah, but they're asking. They see.
But they're
things-
already seeing the
they're see-
movie.
they-
so
They've
they're
seen
already,
the movie. They
you
didn't.
know.
They didn't ask
Did they ask,
until you
Mommy,
talked
what's
about
the
it.
patriarchy?
No, they did not.
They've asked me questions.
All right, let's move on, shall we? We'll all agree to disagree. How about that? That's what it's all about,
But
right?
let's get at least a Golden Globe nomination for Ryan Gosling.
He was good. He was very good.
So, guys,
People's choice.
there was a poll done. Most Americans either don't care or are undecided about the Hollywood writers' strike. Shocking. Like in a world where gas is expensive and inflation is high, the average person doesn't care what people in Hollywood are doing with their time. What did you think of these numbers, Mary?
What did it say?
38% of Americans polled sympathized with the strikes, while just
Yeah.
7% sympathized with the Motion Picture and Television Producers Alliance. It says most respondents actually stated that they were either ambivalent or unsure about their opinion on who's on the right side of things, with 29% saying that they sympathize with both sides equally. That's such a cop-out. I love it. Like, that's something I would say. I'm like, both guys have good points. I don't know. I can't decide.
It says 30% of the people who said they view actors as privileged say they sympathize with the studios more.
That would be...
Who views actors as not privileged?
Apparently, the portion of the
Yeah,
people they
that's-
surveyed. But I think most people just don't care.
I think that's more.
A lot of the people said they sympathize with both equally, or they just don't.
It's summer,
care
so
at all.
nothing has really been impacted yet. The premieres don't really start happening until late September. Those won't happen.
I mean, but that's not even. I don't know if that's necessarily true because a lot of stuff comes out in the summer now because we're not tied to that network television model anymore. Where
Yeah, but
stuff
the
comes
stuff
out
that
all
most
12
people-
months
I
out
mean,
of the year.
I guess
People aren't watching network television
it hasn't.
anymore. Does
been,
anybody actually watch
nobody's
it?
life has been impacted.
Do you have a DVR?
I do sympathize with the crews that are dealing with it because the actors have plenty of money and they can also, pick up the phone and get things.
SAG-AFTRA is
and-
about the only union in the country where like 90% are unemployed.
Yeah.
At any given moment.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
true.
And they have to. I think it was like they have to make a minimum of 26,000 to qualify for insurance, and most don't. Don't even qualify for that. But it shows a divide because right now we covered a story yesterday where there's a union of like housekeepers of like at a hotel that were trying to get Taylor Swift to not do a show,
Right.
because they're like, stand in solidarity with us. I'm like, I don't think you understand how much money is lost just by not doing one
The
Taylor
lieutenant
Swift show.
governor, I can't remember the woman's name.
I couldn't pronounce. I know who you're talking about.
Of California went to a Taylor Swift concert in California one day, and then the next day called on Taylor Swift to cancel her show in Los Angeles in solidarity with the union. And she it wasn't like she was discovered. She tweeted out a photo of herself at the concert. So it was,
That might be the most political thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
So I'm waiting on Mark Zuckerberg to tell Taylor Swift after Glitterface at his. Did you see him with his wife?
the rhinestones on
Yeah,
his
I'm
face.
waiting for
They
him.
said he was girl dadding.
I'm loving watching him pretend to be human lately. Like he's been doing a lot of work trying to propagandize us into believing that he's not a
he's
lizard
a couple
person.
more OS upgrades away from really nailing it.
He really is. Like he did that. Now he's like, my wife's mad that I put an octagon in the backyard so I can do my MMA.
That was just the text conversation between him and his wife was a veiled advertisement for WhatsApp. That's all it was.
Well, and I saw it. I'm like, why is his wife's name in his phone as her first and last name?
I think I'm still my maiden name in your phone, right? So isn't that?
No, I don't know. I might turn my phone off, but I don't think so.
But I love Zuckerberg
I think there might be
pretending to be
multiple
human.
entries.
he tries his best to look like a human being and act like a human being. It doesn't really work, in my opinion. I don't really think he is, but my goodness, those kids are they're getting a good showing of it by dad taking them to the concert and stuff like that. So yeah. So for the
If
actors
dad
and the
really
writers-
wanted to be a good girl dad, though, Zuckerberg could get a private concert.
yeah.
Sure.
Seriously, how much? 10 million for 2 hours? Let's do
You
it.
could.
And or maybe just him and the other billionaires who run tech companies or these things. Yeah, I actually no. Does who's the guy who used to run Twitter?
Jack Dorsey?
Dorsey. Does he have kids?
I don't think so.
He's kind of like he's like still pretends to be like a
He's a
stoner.
bohemian layabout. That's what they call him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Like a rich bohemian layabout. Like I like that because it's like whenever he talks and like I just picture because whenever I think of Hollywood, I'm sorry of Silicon Valley, I think of a bunch of people just microdosing drugs and then writing code. So when I see him, I think of somebody who's like he started off doing the microdosing, but he's kind of macrodosing now, and he's just kind of out of it. Like I actually buy it from him. Like I buy that he's kind of a stoner weirdo more than I buy Zuckerberg as an actual human being.
Yeah, he's busy growing his beard, his very long beard. He
Yeah.
almost looks like he lives under a bridge, but he's a billionaire. So
Well, that's the look, right? First you had ripped jeans. Ripped jeans are a
Yeah.
thing for a couple of decades. Now all the billionaires, and they talk a lot about how people with like in that tax bracket, like Zuckerberg, he wears the same thing every day because it cuts down on the decision making he has to
Yeah.
make. And-
None of these people have the dignity of MySpace's Tom.
No,
Who got his 4 billion or whatever and just went away. You ever see him? You ever see him?
he's a travel
He's
photographer
just
now.
doing whatever he's doing.
He does travel photography. Like he just became.
minding his
it
own
wasn't even.
business.
I heard it wasn't even 4 billion. It was less than that. It was like
He got a lot of
500
money.
It was like half a billion
He's
or something
rich.
like that. Yeah,
He's rich. Just a half. Oh, poor
just
guy.
a half of it.
When did he sell? Was it like during the heyday of
Yeah,
MySpace
well, it was near
or
the end of the
after?
heyday, and he sold to Rupert Murdoch.
Yeah.
So
Oh, okay.
he cashed in. He did all right.
He got out when it kind of became a music app at that point where it was
Yeah.
just for bands and
Then they
stuff
just
like that.
Oopsie, accidentally deleted all of the music.
Yeah, that's not cool, man. All right, Ariana Grande, Mary, tell us about Ariana Grande, her estranged husband, Dalton Gomez, and the weird stuff going on with Ethan Slater.
The homewrecker story just keeps getting worse and more egregious. Ariana Grande held Ethan Slater's baby with his wife and at one point said, "Oh, I want to have babies too someday." And now they reported that Ariana Grande and her estranged husband, Dalton Gomez, went on several double dates with Ethan Slater and his wife before they both split up.
Ethan
To have a
Slater looks
2-month
like
fling.
what Carrot Top would look like if he stopped going to the gym.
Yeah, yeah.
He just looks like a deflated Carrot Top.
No, I think. What did I say?
he looks like what
Zu-
Seth Green could have become had he chosen a different path in life.
I think he looks at. What did I say? He looks like Zuckerberg. If Zuckerberg was like, he looks like an uncomfortable Zuckerberg.
Kind of looks
Yeah.
like Zuckerberg.
Is he
Kind of
really-
looks
Yeah.
like her brother.
Yeah.
is he really rich or something?
No.
Or-
No, he
No.
played SpongeBob on Broadway. Like, she could do better than this.
Yeah, she seems to have very low standards when it comes to men.
Like I
She's
said,
not. Her
I know
IQ and her shoe size are in a race to
but-
see which one comes out bigger.
I'm gonna slide into her DMs later. I'll,
There you
I'll see
go.
I'll see what I got going.
Oh, you're much better than.
You're not
Don't
F-boy
do that.
SpongeBob. as
No,
they're
no,
calling
I
Ethan
could not play
Slater.
SpongeBob. Luckily, I don't have the. I don't have.
See,
his
if you'd
name.
have bet that your hair would have gone orange, you would have stood a chance.
Damn, so I did it wrong this time. I would have had an easier time deck the first time we dyed my hair. So yeah, so she held his kid.
Yep. And liked the post on Instagram he did for Mother's Day for his wife. And apparently they were just sloppy and all over each other on set while they were supposedly happily married, not hiding their relationship from everyone else in their cast.
They're dumb people. Dumb people do stupid and horrible things all the time.
Are
This
they
should come as a
dumb or
surprise-
just evil?
No, they're dumb. Well, a lot of evil is just dumb people being dumb. And
Yeah.
I don't think that they set out, let's try. If you're evil, you go, let's screw these people over. You're dumb if you just go, oh, what's happening in my wake? I don't know. I'm not going to look. And you
What
just
is
keep
it
going
like-
Person
forward.
said Ariana and Dalton went on double dates with Ethan and Lily several times, and they were seen out by cast members. Lily and Ethan also met Ariana Grande's family together, including her mom and brother.
Now, I know a lot of famous people who this stuff does happen. Not going to name names, but and they get away with it, and they're all over everywhere. But there's a PR person feeding these stories.
Yeah.
So,
Well, they're all kind of involved in Hollywood, and the ex-wife is
'cause there's
really
one thing
mad at the
There's
ex-husband
one thing
or
if
whatever.
you're doing it, but this is
Are they feeding stories to make Ariana Grande look worse?
I don't know what the PR intent is. It's almost like content
Ariana Grande
creation for
ever
the sake
look
of doing
good?
content
Did
creation.
anybody ever go, there's something I should emulate? She's stupid. She makes bad music. And okay.
I think she's a good singer.
Is that
Yeah, she's not
something you
bad.
should aspire to? There's a lot of good singers who aren't stupid.
Yeah. I just think it's just as long as you don't aspire to be like these people, it's fine.
Part of this is she's been famous since she just finished puberty. So when was the last time she heard no from anybody?
Finishing puberty at 30 is rough.
But but she's been famous since she was like 18 or 17. Like, and nobody tells her no since then. If you go a decade in your formative years where nobody tells you no and nobody can make it stick, you're going to be a jackass.
She's got to have a low self-esteem because this guy is just not the guy. I'm not saying that you should
I don't
cheat,
know.
but this is not the guy you cheat with.
Did you
So-
watch that god awful
I think it's the
show,
audacity,
the Idol on
No.
HBO?
No, we talked
Did
about it
you?
a few times.
Yeah, I did. It was terrible. It was so
Why
bad
did
I
you
couldn't
do that?
I couldn't stop watching. I watched it once and I thought it can't get worse, and it did every week.
Maybe that's what it is. Like now they're just creating train wreck TV where it's like it's no longer about making shows so good you can't look away.
Well, the pitch
it's about
was
making things
the
so bad you
wants
can't
to do
look
a
away.
show. The weekend wants to do. Okay, let's do the weekend. We can't miss, except for the fact that he can't act. The story's stupid. It's like Entourage if it was designed to try to make you kill yourself.
No, thank you. I'm not watching that. I'm not watching that. All right, Mary. We also have Lizzo saying the quiet part out loud a little bit here. Should
She's
we watch this clip?
very open with her sexuality and expressing herself about BTS.
Yeah, here we go. Let's listen to this clip here.
If I could collaborate with BTS, I mean, that sounds fun. I don't know if I can make it through the studio session without having sex with all of them. If I could collaborate with BTS.
Is there like a male corollary to this?
Trust me, BTS is not
I'm going to
interested
go out on a limb. Yeah,
in having sex with Lizzo.
I just suspecting
Not
for
remotely.
multiple reasons, but I don't think.
I
no, that's not going
bet
to happen.
all of these K-pop stars are closeted racists. It's their best kept secret.
That was not on my list. That was not on my list of possibilities, but it's, I suppose, possible. I just don't think the options are that and this. No.
Yeah. There's a $20 one right there from Lord Crimson TV.
I was listening to episode 420 and I just wanted to comment that marriage shouldn't be considered dating on hard mode. It's new game plus what, love.
Yes. And all the way. By the way, guys, I also understand that I did not change the title today. It says we're on episode 420 still. That was a mistake on my part. I will fix it after the
'Cause you were
fact.
high?
It fits that narrative, right? No, that was my mistake, guys. But yeah, we were talking
yesterday was
yesterday.
episode 420. We were smoking doobies.
Yeah. No.
You guys think that Marilyn Monroe smoked weeds
Oh, probably.
Probably.
with JFK?
Totally.
people were making fun of it because they're like, look, Brett's very clearly noticeably open about being sober, so 420 doesn't really mean anything to me. And it also, there was a lot of censorship going on because they tried to do a poll. It said who is the biggest 420 icon, and it wouldn't let me make the poll. It kept saying sorry error. And so that's YouTube out to censor and quell the voice of the people. And frankly, I think that that's wrong. I don't think there's anything that they should be doing to stop that, because I wasn't advocating for people to do it. I was just merely like, I bet you if Snoop Dogg has a YouTube channel, I don't think his YouTube channel is banned or censored. I think he's allowed to do whatever he wants.
I think he's encouraged to do whatever
Yes,
he wants.
he is.
Someone said that the internet is trying to Andrew Tate Lizzo now, while she's obviously trolling.
Charge her with sexual trafficking of women?
No.
I missed that tweet.
Yeah. She's
She did actually have her crew keep one of her dancers locked in a room until they were able to search her phone.
For what?
For a recording of her going off on the team.
She
Basically.
sounds like a horrible
Person.
boss.
Yeah.
I don't know about.
She tried to
in
beat
the
one of them
interview,
up.
She seems perfectly nice.
Actually, there was something I
No,
wanted to
she
point
seems
out.
like a horrible narcissist.
There's
Yeah, but-
this a point I meant to bring up the other day when we were talking about this. This might actually be one of these things that I think the feminists may have a little bit right, which is that when men act like this, they're kind of lauded as like tough bosses and like sure, but that's because they're doing it to other men and men would look at this differently. Whereas a woman doing this to other women who are going to be more sensitive about it, they're not going to take it the same way.
Well, there's not many. Are there many lawsuits brought or threatened or lawyered up of male assistants? From male, I don't. If
I'm not necessarily talking about the strip club stuff. I'm talking about the yelling at the audience or yelling at the dancers part, where she's being really mean to these people. But the thing is, there was the audio that leaked of Tom Cruise yelling at people on the set of Dead Reckoning.
That was different.
I understand. No, I understand it's different. But I'm saying, but he got out of that, and nobody seemed to care because they understand that he's doing something that needs to be done because these people are being stupid and they're going to get this movie shut down.
Right.
But I do believe that there might be a little bit of a double standard. Thank you. That there might be a little bit of a double standard there.
I don't know if there's a double standard. I think it's a situational standard.
And I'm not defending Lizzo. I think she's a horrible person. I'm just saying that men would not take the yelling so personally or be as afraid by it, and the women would.
Okay, but she did try to beat one of them up.
She did the fisticuffs thing, right?
Someone had to restrain her.
She did the hold me back
They
thing.
had to restrain
Hold me
her.
back. Hey, I'm gonna go after this guy over here in the bar in a second, Brett. But as soon as I do this, you grab me and you hold me back, all right? Because I don't want to go over there and fight that guy. Everybody knows it. Hold me back. They're like, what? And if you don't catch your friend, like he's knocked out cold.
Hold me back, bro. Hold me back.
Yeah.
I don't want to make an absolute assessment, but I think men tend to be more transparent when they're rude or mean, versus women can be almost psychologically challenging. Yes.
Yeah.
Like
We'll say something horrible and then just move on from it.
Yeah.
The way we treat our friends, you would think it was, horrible abuse.
Because when men, you actually, between two men, when they fight, it's actually endearing to each other the more they insult each other. And also they like to physically fight. It actually shows like this bro relationship.
I don't know that I've ever said a
solidifies it.
nice word to a male friend of mine.
But for women, women psychologically try to tear each other down, and it starts like very young. So
I'll crush your soul.
That's why we were talking about how when they were advertising Oppenheimer, Robert Downey Jr. said he's like women should run the world because men women just have a better way of solving problems. I'm like, I don't think you know many women.
Yeah.
I was like I'm not saying that men should run the world exclusively. I'm just saying that shows a stunning lack of
Lizzo
understanding.
to be the dictator of the world?
No, I don't. I do not want her to do that.
Because you fear
when
for
she put in
BTS?
her-
Yes, I do. I don't want her to be put in.
Yeah.
Them
They
to
would
be-
become her concubines.
Yes.
But when she put in her public statement responding to the allegations, I'm not going to let this overshadow all of the good work I've done for the world. Anyone who's actually a good person who has done good things for the world doesn't talk about themselves like that.
like bullying your
We
staff.
do.
Yeah.
We do. Some of us
You
do.
do?
We've got to let the world know. Yeah.
But I mean that ends up being the result of them being talked. People talk them up so much as they start to believe it.
It comes with not hearing the word no from anybody who can make it stick. I want this. Well, that's instead of like, hey, I want that person's phone number. I want that chick's phone number. Go get me. Somebody go talk to her. Like, I'm not going to pimp out you. You've got somebody on staff making 10% who goes, I'm going to forego 10% if I don't come up with that chick's phone number. I'm going to go get that chick's phone number. And then I want to go to a restaurant. Forget what normal people do. I'm not going to make a reservation. I'm going to show up and I'm going to make sure somebody else gets bumped. I want to go to this thing. I want to do that. And nobody says, that's kind of you're a jerk.
You're being a little bit of a jerk.
There's nobody. This is why every crew has to have somebody you went to high school with in it, so they can say you're kind of being a jackass.
So that's why that person exists on all in all of these
hangers
situations.
on.
Yeah,
Everybody needs a turtle, man.
So they're actually important. That person actually matters. They have to be there because they were there with you before you got
They gotta
famous.
call you out.
They're like, hey, dude, you're being an asshole.
There's a reason. I didn't know we could say that. I've said it like 15 times by now. There's a reason that Eminem married his high school sweetheart like twice. Or whatever the hell. They kept getting back together because nobody else would put up with this shit.
Yeah.
Like, everybody, oh, yeah, that's great. Oh, no, I want this, I want that, I want the other thing. Okay, yeah, sure, whatever. Why? Because they're afraid of getting thrown off the gravy train. Well,
Yeah.
she doesn't care about that. You're still the same jackass from 10th grade.
Well, did she also really change the world with, I guess the body positivity thing, but have people really
Lizzo?
changed?
Yeah, she
They
brought
said
about more diabetes.
She's
There's body
done
positivity.
everything for women who are plus size and women in general. And I was like, what did Lizzo ever do to me?
Meghan Trainor walked so that Lizzo could run and be out of breath. Like it really does feel that way. Because we were talking about Meghan Trainor earlier, right?
People are debating about whether Meghan Trainor was ever actually fat.
Yes. Similar to like, did you guys
By
see
2014 standards, she was definitely fat.
There was a
It's
picture
not
of
2014 anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it is people with a gravitational pull.
there was a picture
Midgets
of
burning up in their atmosphere, stuck in orbit around them, and they're like, "Oh, I can be beautiful at any size." Like, no,
Well,
no, you can be, but you're not.
Maybe my view didn't change because of Lizzo, but I worry about friends and family who do get that heavy for their health, and I just don't know if the world has been like, yeah, keep doing that. I don't know if that really changed anything. I mean, if she was, doing other feminist things like, trying to help with childcare costs or, whatever maternity leave pay or something that I was like, okay, whoa, you really pushed the needle on something for feminism. But I don't know if body positivity was where the world changed.
and the fans of that movement are very, very rabid. Like they got very mad at Adele when she lost weight, and she's
I
like,
know.
I don't. Why are you mad at me? Like I didn't ask for this attention. I just happened to be a little bit bigger.
Rebel Wilson.
Yes,
Same
Rebel
thing.
Wilson
Like,
as well.
oh, how dare you betray? How dare you what? Doctor said you probably should take a couple pounds off.
Well, she said it because she wanted kids.
Well, I think Kelly Clarkson has done more for just accepting women for their natural weight than Lizzo, I think. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think it's just,
I brought up
Yeah,
somebody
kids.
the picture of there's a picture of Jessica Simpson from like 2008, and they're like, this is what
She
fat
was
looked
like a size 4, and they were calling her
Like,
obese
she's like
in the
disgusting,
tabloids.
and she's just
But
a good-looking woman.
that was the enforcement that was keeping the Lizzos of the world from taking over. Like you have to shame them when they start getting that heavier.
like Ashley Graham, beautiful, I mean, I was fine with, with
I'll
that.
never get over the interview on the red carpet she had with Hugh Grant, where she didn't
yes.
understand what Vanity Fair meant.
Well, I
And
also-
she was just so stupid. What is it like? It had to be a blast to work on. You mean the movie where I had a 30-second cameo in a door jam with literally nobody else in the movie? Yeah, it was a life-changing experience, you idiot. Like, ugh.
He's also got a dry delivery, and he's British dry sense of humor that doesn't really translate to somebody who's supposed to be like a bubbly American, fake.
Dumbass. You can go say
But every
dumbass.
literary reference he said went way over her head. So it
And but also like on those events, they're not used to being challenged back, right?
Yeah.
They're used to giving you the fluff question and you giving them the
it's a
fluff
stupid
answer.
question that had no. She was literally a cameo in a door jam. He probably was not on set with anybody else. Ugh.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
I just don't like stupid.
it's actually unfair of him to expect more from her. Like,
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like it's kind of weird that he expected deeper, more in-depth
Yeah.
questions.
I don't necessarily blame her.
I
I blame the people in the trailer who were feeding the questions into
Yeah.
her IFB.
because it was a walk by. It was one of those ones where they're on a carpet,
Yeah.
where basically they walk through and they go from one interview to the next interview
Yeah.
to the next interview. It's like, was he really going to any of these other people and being like, yes, give me deep philosophical questions?
No, but would anybody else go, was it a life-changing experience to work on this movie? Like, no. I literally phoned it in. I signed a release and they computer-generated my face on a mannequin.
Well, what if she had
Wasn't
been
even
like,
there.
oh, your career almost died for a couple of times because you were a romantic comedy guy, and then nobody hired you for a while.
You're
I don't think he
aging
would-
poorly, Hugh. Let's talk about
I don't
how
think he would have
you're-
appreciated that either. Like it's like Notting Hill. That was a long time ago, wasn't it? I don't think he wants to get that.
You're no
question
longer
either.
leading man good looks anymore. You know.
All right.
Is it because of Divine Brown or is it something else?
how old? I mean, Hugh Grant's got to be in his 60s now, right?
He's
Or-
up there.
Yeah,
He's
he's up
got to
there,
be.
yeah.
Is he?
yeah, 50s or 60s. Notting,
oh,
like I said,
60s easily.
Notting Hill was a long time ago.
Oh yeah.
All right. What would you like to see, Mary? Cute or cringe of the day first?
What do you guys want to watch first? Cute of the day? Cute cringe of the day?
Cute, I guess.
Cute?
first.
All right, we'll do cute of the day first. We got a couple here. First,
It's not
things
going to be a
first,
sad memorial highlight reel of a dead kitten this time.
We're
I
not
promise.
doing that again.
We're not gonna. We're not gonna do that again.
It's
Those
safe.
kittens are cute and they look delicious.
Yes, so here we're so here it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is from Boosted Yogi on Twitter. Says they are growing up so fast, and look at them. They're very cute. They could have little casts on their arms, and they'd be just like Tater Tot.
Tater Tot did kind of get famous just for having health problems.
I will just say, Hugh John Mungo Grant is 62 years old.
Okay, he's in
is.
his 60s.
And
All right.
Mungo is literally, according to Wikipedia, so take that for what it's worth. It's Hugh John Mungo Grant.
Well, with a name like Hugh John Mungo, of course you're going to be a jerk to somebody on the runway.
You're going to go to a prostitute while you're dating one of the all-time beauties.
And we got one more here from Lindsay Tatum. Says, hanging in Nashville for the week at a friend's home and had to showcase these two, Pearl, the half coyote on the left, and Vinny on the right with the lazy eye. They had 4 animals, but no to check my car for these two when I leave. Yeah, you don't want to back up behind them. There we go. That's very,
Good-looking
very
dog.
cute.
Cute.
And yeah, a little bit. Very, very cute. All right, we do have cringe of the day, ladies and gentlemen, now that we've watched cute stuff. This clip made the rounds the other day. We didn't talk about it, but here it is, guys. This police officer gets absolutely bodied by a slide.
I just don't understand how he gets
I
into
don't
this
either.
situation.
Here we
Like
go.
he supposedly fell down it or something? Friction burn. It just-
It was just like it looked like it was his lifeless body.
It did.
And he's on medical leave now.
But I don't know
And
how.
his handcuffs and his taser
How
falling
did
out
he
of his
get
pockets.
down this thing? That's what I don't understand. Like, was he trying to go down
It
backwards?
was also like in the middle of the summer, so you know the metal slide is
Oh, I
just
know.
burning his skin.
Well, the concrete on his forearms.
That might be the rubber. That might be that rubber
It's still
stuff.
going to leave a mark. You hit it. It was 5 miles an hour.
I love those memes. It's the picture of the old metal slides. It says somewhere some dude created this who just absolutely hated children.
Yeah.
Right, play it again. Play it again.
Okay. It's like somebody said back the blue, more
Why are
like
they-
black and blue.
But they're filming it.
He's just trying to get
Right.
out of the slide
They
as
are
quickly as
filming
possible.
it.
Oh my God.
And I feel as though if you wanted to stop yourself, you could do it.
But
you
is
put
he-
your arms out, you put your feet out, you could at least slow
He
your
didn't even-
descent.
He surrendered to the situation.
That's not a normal way of coming out
it's
either.
not.
It's like how somebody goes down
Maybe it
a
was too
water
hot.
slide.
Maybe it was too hot
But
and
he's like
turned
face
over.
down. Like he's like face down. He's
He
not
was
even-
aware this wasn't a water slide, right?
In
There's
the
no pool
chat,
at the end.
Jeremy Harbin says, that's Boston. I've been on that slide a few months ago.
Wait, but why did he go down the slide? Did he slip or was this
The
intentional?
tweet that I saw with this video is that he fell down the slide, which I don't. Unless the
it.
entryway is a hole up on top, like, I don't know how you fall down the slide.
Why was he at the top of the slide in the first place? Why were they filming?
A couple of rough 5-year-olds messing some kids up for some milk.
I think a lot of it is like cops love the good slice of life clips where they look not awful to
See,
the public.
not all cops are bad.
Yeah, like there's a really famous clip of like a cop on a skateboard who does like a really, really good 360 flip while wearing all his gear, which would have been extremely heavy and difficult to do. And this guy's like, oh, look at this. This is like, I'm just such a normal guy. I'm gonna go down the slide.
Dead
Ow.
ass backwards down the slide.
Yes.
Like if he goes down the slide forward, okay. But this is like there are 2 guys up at the top who
And now
knocked
like,
him semi-conscious and threw him into it.
taxpayer dollars are going to this guy being on medical leave
It's
now.
Boston, so we're not dealing with everything. Boston is like, no offense to people in Boston, you're just horrible people. They're the second most miserable thing in the world is a Boston sports fan when their teams are losing. The most miserable thing in the world is a Boston sports fan when their teams are winning. They get more miserable when they win. They get more insufferable.
Somebody
So-
should include this. It should be like, try that in a small town. It's the cop going down. Back the blue. Like, it doesn't work. So I
This
hope-
guy's going to cause that slide to get taken
Like
down.
flashing
They're going to make him
across
take.
the screen during the Jason Aldean music video.
They're going to take this slide down because some kid's going to get hurt.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's brilliant. He did it on the job, so
Yes.
now he's got workers' comp for it. So now he's.
I recommend you don't.
Yeah, I don't think. I think this guy deserves disability, not because of any injury suffered here, but because of the way he went down the slide.
Yes.
He's obviously got something wrong with
They're
it.
like, can we really trust you to like climb over a
Yeah.
fence to
Yeah.
get a suspect? How the hell do you even climb over a fence if that's how you go down a
We're
slide?
going to take your gun and we're going to give you a stapler. And we're just
It's
gonna
better if
start
he's
to-
off the street for the next few weeks.
You work your way up to a 3-hole punch, and we can talk about maybe getting you in a SWAT
It's like,
car
oh man,
riding
they're
shotgun.
putting me on administrative leave. It's just, it's no good. So, all right, guys, let's go ahead and get right into it then. Roseanne is back. She was on IRL just last week, I believe, but she's making a splash because she is going to be having her own anti-woke television show on Elon Musk's X. You have to call it that because nobody else would know what the hell that means if you said X.
He named it X so that more people would have to talk about him in headlines.
Yeah.
He named it X so people who got access to his emails would not understand how much he loves porn. It'd be
I see.
plausible deniability.
Yeah, well, he didn't change the name for the video section on Twitter because then it would be called X Videos, and that's a copyrighted website already. You can't do that. It says, according to a report from the New York Post, comedian Roseanne Barr has landed a new show on Elon Musk's X, formerly Twitter. Barr, age 70, was signed to a 6-figure deal by Public Square. The Public Square guys have been here, so that is very cool. It's a very good idea to have the option to be able to look for companies that share your values. Obviously, we run headlong into that all the time here because we're constantly having to go to movies by people like Seth Rogen, where last night he's talking about, it's like, thank you for coming to my movie. I'm like, this guy hates me. Like, this dude, if this dude knew me in real life, this dude would hate my guts. It says the company, which went public via SPAC, they went public last month. She got a 6-figure deal, and it's like we have Tucker Carlson.
Whatever comes out of the comedian's
And what is
foul
the show
mouth.
going to be? Is it going to be a Roseanne talk show? Is it going to be a sitcom?
I love the idea that it becomes an alternate reality timeline where she doesn't die on the Connors.
Everybody else in the family
Everybody
dies?
else dies, and she's alone. And
She's
it's
got to still own a taste of the IP.
She's like Will
there.
Smith in that movie.
Yes, I'm Legend.
Just has a dog. Yeah.
So, no, that was literally, it's like it literally becomes like The Last of Us, but it's Roseanne, and she's
And
just
there's zombies.
going across the world. The Connors are dead. I guess it could be like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle story, The Last Ronin, where all the turtles die but
She
one.
killed the Connors, and she's on the run.
She's
She's on the run from
maybe she's
a
Tom
relentless police officer, Jean
Yes.
Valjean type, except it's not over a
or
sandwich.
it's this guy. It's the cop on the slide who's after her, and he
how
keeps getting
she
hurt.
has to blend in everywhere
Or she's
she
Tom
goes.
Hanks and ended up on a FedEx plane in the middle of the ocean.
Perfect. Yes, a cat.
I don't think
like,
she'd do the method stuff there.
So do you think this is something that will like we can talk about the validity about whether it's financially plausible to make a lot of money on? I mean, obviously Twitter X is monetized now, but like I don't know what Tucker Carlson is actually making on one of his episodes of Tucker on Twitter. Like, what is he?
Well, are
what
there
is he,
ads? I've
wait,
not watched.
Yeah.
I know
Wait,
Tucker.
does he have-
I've
does it
known
have to be
Tucker
called
for
Tucker
15
on
years,
X
but
now?
I've never.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
Tucker on Twitter is what it's called.
But is it called Tucker
no,
on X
I'm not
now?
going to do that.
X Tucker?
I don't. I've watched clips. Are there ads in his clips? Because you can sign with an ad company. I know he signed a
Yeah.
If you're-
7-figure deal with this same company. But if there are not any ads in his videos, I can't imagine he's getting any ad revenue from that. But I does anybody going to watch a half an hour anything on Twitter?
I
let alone
have.
2 or
I've
3?
watched a 3.5-hour interview on.
Yeah, but that was
Really?
for work. That was you
I had
had
to.
to.
Okay, so it was
like,
for work. But would you? Because I'm sitting there and I'll watch it and then I'll go, okay, I'll scroll. And then the second you scroll off the screen, it stops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's gone. I'm like, well, I'm not going to sit here and I don't want to. I want to do other things when I'm on my computer than watch a video. So I just don't know what it's going to be. How is it
also-
going to be appointment television for Roseanne? Is it going to be a talk show? Is it going to be a sitcom? What is it going to be?
I also don't find her to be like people are talking about how she's still a liberal. Like she's just not politically correct, right?
If
She's
it-
very much an old school liberal.
As somebody who's been on the right my whole life, I can say that the right has a problem in that anybody who says anything remotely conservative, they
Yeah.
go, "Oh, look at this Hollywood person is
we
our
love
friend."
this guy now.
And they go, "Yeah, I hate you. No, I hate everything else
Exactly,
about
right?
you." They're like, "What? Shocked." Oh, or there's like a 12-year-old. He says something conservative in a YouTube video. Let's get him to keynote CPAC. And then he finishes puberty and he's some left-wing lunatic in the end. And then the left goes, "Hey, look at this. Now he's the guest host for Rachel Maddow or something." Like, how about you just let people prove themselves? You go, "This person said something I agree with," and leave it at that. You don't have to start carving their faces into a mountain.
They're always desperate for
But
the
they do it all the
validation.
time. Tulsi Gabbard is a hero. Look at what Tulsi Gabbard stands for. Most people who watch her on Fox could not stand what she says.
Yeah.
But she goes on there. She's not stupid. She's got a job. Talk about things where she agrees. The audience loves it. Here's some red meat. Here's some red meat. And she goes back to her vegan diet off camera. It's the same kind of way. They used to have Dennis Kucinich on when he stopped running for president, and they talked to him about things they agreed with him about. And people were like, that Dennis Kucinich is all right. Hey, Dennis Kucinich hates your guts, okay? You just hate your
That's
guts.
what Tucker did when he interviewed Ice Cube recently for Tucker on Twitter. They just talked about
There's something to be
like,
said for talking about what you agree with. You don't want to be a dick to everybody
Right.
in an interview. Just like, hey, what about this?
He was like, he asked Ice Cube, do you just wake up in the morning and you hate people for their skin color?
And he's like, shockingly, he's like, no, I don't.
Ice
He's
Cube's
like,
like,
oh, yeah, well.
no.
Yeah. I will say, though, that like because that interview was broken up into two pieces, like it would have made a more sense to do the kind of actual pushback on the sit-down interview. It'd have been awkward if he's like pushing back while they're in the car together and they're just awkwardly close to one another while he's like, yeah, so you said this once, I think that's wrong, and then they have to like have an uncomfortable
Let's
silence
talk
in
about
the
the
car.
things you've said about Jews.
Yeah, well, no, because he's a Farrakhan guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a big Farrakhan
I'm
guy.
familiar with
Well, even Roseanne,
works with
I
Mr.
just feel
Cube.
I feel uncomfortable even wanting to embrace her on anything because I mean, anti-woke. Well, I don't even know if she knows what that means.
Yeah.
So I mean,
She said, we're followers of Elon, and it's pretty evident to us that whatever we want goes. It's a great way for people to fight back against totalitarianism.
I don't know what followers
To have a
of Elon
sketch
means.
comedy show on Twitter.
What does that have to do with having a sketch comedy show on Twitter or any kind of show on Twitter, right?
She also said she wanted to become the face of cancel culture.
And a six-figure deal is
So
pretty sad.
tiresome.
For somebody of her level of fame, right?
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I think she's probably still gets a cut of the Connor.
She's
well,
gotta
no, because
have,
they changed the
she's gotta
name
have
to the
created
Connors.
by, though. No, it doesn't matter. The characters.
Yeah.
You had Get Him to the Greek, which was a sequel to what I can't remember. Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Okay.
And there were based on characters created by Steve or whatever.
So she's still getting a cut of the
Jason
money,
Segel.
even if she's not on the show anymore.
I'd imagine so.
Yeah.
So she doesn't need the ad revenue from Twitter.
They probably don't advertise. Well, she made millions and millions of dollars.
If you're verified
unless
on
she's got a
Twitter-
Hunter Biden cocaine level, problem.
Yeah.
She's.
But if you're on Twitter Blue, they let you become a partner where you can get ad revenue in a similar way to YouTube.
Yeah, but you're talking thousands of dollars.
Yeah,
that's her toilet paper budget.
Maybe she could team up with Tom Arnold. He's pretty crazy. these days.
Just the other way.
Get them
Like,
back together.
He's insufferable. Like he's actually one of the few. I'm very, very good at like when I see an actor who's just nuts on Twitter or something like that. It doesn't really bother me, but there's just something about the way he actually talks when he's acting that it feels like I'm listening to him talk on Twitter, and I can't stand it. Like he's very annoying.
He bounces and
Yeah.
like this. That.
Yeah,
He
I'm
was
not-
good in True Lies. That's about it.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan. I don't know
He's a
what
jack-
kind
I
of.
think he blocked me on Twitter a long time ago. A lot of these people do it. They're very thin-skinned.
He might have block. I mean, a lot of them like have blockchains too. That like he blocks somebody
Oh,
that
I
you
know.
follow. So therefore,
I love the Replacements, and Tommy Stinson, the bassist, blocked me. Like, I didn't even know you were on Twitter, dude.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell could I possibly done? John Cusack, I said one thing. I love John Cusack.
Oh, me too.
And he blocks everybody.
Oh, he's so angry.
Yeah.
Wait, why? Like, what's he so
John
angry about?
Cusack. Oh, he's just
Read his Twitter feed if you're not
insane-
blocked by him.
insane
You're probably
progressive.
blocked by him.
Yeah.
I really do think that in a lot of ways Twitter was a mistake for these celebrities, that they lose the allure of being kind of a blank canvas.
Yeah.
That's like it's a unique
I
problem
think it
for
was a
actors.
mistake for society.
I would agree on that part as well, but in general for actors, I think it's because actors are supposed to be seen in a lot of ways as a blank canvas, so that when they go from role to role, they can kind of meld and become mesh to whatever they need to be. But then when you have their views on certain things protruding into your brain, now some people are better at pushing it out. Like I'm pretty good at it. Like it doesn't usually bother me. All it takes for me is
because what else are you gonna do?
Exactly,
You can
right?
Watch
So-
Kirk Cameron movies all day.
But
Like,
the problem is that not everybody's like that, and a lot of people who are going to vote with their dollars aren't going to be even willing to give you the time of day to try it.
has there ever been a movie you deliberately didn't go see because the politics, basically the star or the
I didn't
director
watch-
said,
I didn't
basically
watch
made
Don't
it
Look Up.
unambiguous that they hate you? What was that?
Don't Look Up.
Would you have watched it?
Oh God, that was a
otherwise?
terrible movie.
I
You
mean,
saved yourself
I
for
didn't
many
watch it.
reasons.
You can't just stream Try That in a Small Town and just watch Sound of Freedom for the rest of your
No,
life.
well, Try
No,
That in
you
a Small Town
cannot.
sucks.
I-
and who?
Don't do this.
It's
She
a
loves
bad
it.
song.
It's a banger, and you
lyrically, it's a third grade level. Doesn't he rhyme the same word
It's
with
catchy
itself?
though. You can't argue with that.
COVID is catchy. It's not a virtue. Music,
Well, actually, it is in music.
musically,
You're
it's
wrong
fine,
about
but
that.
I'm sorry. I need a strong lyric. I need a clever lyric. And lyrically, this is just stupid. It's just stupid.
I've been listening to Try That in a Small Town in my car, just yelling these lyrics. I don't care how stupid you think they are.
Okay.
It's a great
I'm not
song.
telling you that
It's
you
so
don't have to
weird. It's
stay
just not
listening to it,
you.
but it's just
so not you.
I listen to country music
it's
sometimes.
not
I
a
know,
good
but
song.
still, it's just such a. It's like it burrowed.
Lyrically,
into
it's lazy. It's like rhyming love and above.
It sounded like he was
together and
telling
forever, like, oh,
people
good
to
God.
commit crimes. He was like carjacking an old lady
No, look.
at a red light. Like he's
I
telling
like
you to
the
do
message,
it.
the theme. It's probably 2 or 3 rewrites, like a lot of movies. Like every Kevin
He
Smith
didn't
movie
write the
since
song,
Clerks or
by the
since
way.
Chasing Amy is like 2 rewrites away from being a fairly decent movie. It's just nobody's there to tell him no. It's like Quentin Tarantino. If you let somebody else say these 40 minutes of them driving and not talking just so you can play this song is unnecessary in this movie. We could take it from 3 hours to 2 and it'd be a much
Zack
better movie.
Snyder.
The song, the song, if you rewrote it a little bit with somebody with a little bit more creativity, a co-writer, then you could say, hey, let's
It was
lyrically
written
pump this
by
up
like
a little bit.
4 people, and
Doesn't
then
matter how many
he
sucky
bought
people you
the
get into a
song.
room. It sucks.
I think there's also there's a publicity push behind being canceled, and so I feel like this is like the best thing that ever happened.
Elon
to the
just
song.
tweeted, "Comedy is legal on this platform."
That is as bland and just as much of
It's
a
like
nothing.
Talk about somebody who's
that's
a robot.
That's as much of a
2015.
nothing burger as any of the stuff that people on the left say
I
about
know.
when they virtue signal. It's-
Zuckerberg does a better job of pretending to be human than Elon does most
Think
of
so?
the time. Yes.
Yeah, but people like.
Except for that Elon like screws everybody. And
But
has a bunch
Elon
of
knows
babies.
how to make memes. So
Well, Elon has lots of babies. He doesn't screw anyone.
It's
They
just
do it in
better
the lab.
programming.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
Better. He married the same woman twice. That's like.
Wait,
Did I really? Yeah, his first wife was his third wife.
Oh.
Like, okay.
Just
neither
like
time it worked.
Ben
making sure.
Affleck. Ben Affleck marrying.
Just making-
Or no, he didn't marry J-Lo.
He didn't marry J-Lo. They
did
just got
engaged.
engaged.
Yeah, that's.
I like that one because it stops them from inflicting themselves on other people.
I love it because he looks so miserable in all his photos now. He never looked happy. I mean, he didn't look happy all that much before.
That
He
video
looks
where he's
more
just
unhappy
slamming
now.
the car door shut on her.
Just resting.
If you
grumpy
watch a
face.
Ben Affleck movie, I guarantee you at one point, the scene in Good Will Hunting when he knocks on the door and he's not there and he realizes that his friend took his advice and he's going, there's that half open sideways
Yeah.
mouth thing. Like every movie, Ben Affleck breaks out that half open sideways
Yeah.
mouth thing.
There's a $20 one there from Baron of Gray Matter.
He said, "Come on, guys. Roseanne achieved a level of fame and
Can't give 2 F's about
can't give 2 F's about money. Is she eccentric? Yes. Can she call out the evil and wokey BS in Hollywood and elsewhere? Yes. She is hilariously honest and borderline crazy."
I hate to say this.
Nobody's saying anything to the contrary about that.
What was your favorite sitcom when you were a kid?
That's a deep question.
Okay, but
I don't
did
know.
you ever watch The Cosby Show
no.
and laugh at it? Did you ever watch, like Seinfeld holds up, but most of the shows from the 90s, from the 80s, from the 70s, you watch them, and if you were of that era, you have that nostalgia for them. But if you show them to somebody now, they look at you like, this is the worst thing I've ever, this is the dumb, why would anybody watch this crap?
Yeah.
Because it's dated. It doesn't work. And the people in them, Roseanne was funny in the 90s. What was funny in the 90s isn't necessarily funny anymore.
What did you think of her comments about the Holocaust?
I don't follow Roseanne enough. What did she say?
She said, well, I don't know if I want to get clipped saying it. And we can't say it on YouTube, can we?
Do it in a weird voice.
No, we can't. I don't think we can't say that on Twitter.
That's why it's just
She said
tricky.
something didn't happen, but should have.
We can't say that.
Yeah.
We can't. Yeah. But the point was, she said that on Theo Vaughn, right? She was talking to Theo Vaughn. The point was that she was being edgy because
There's a difference between being edgy and just being an ass.
Yeah.
And just shocking.
But that's
Shocking
the-
for shocking sake and shocking for a point. are two
BC is
different
right.
things.
Home Improvement does in fact hold up. Home Improvement does. Yes,
That gets old really quick.
no,
I'm
it does
sorry.
not. I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry. I'm from Michigan. Tim Allen, Michigan, Detroit.
I love Tim Allen too.
Coach was great.
No. Does it hold up?
I have a
was great. Does it hold up? Could you show
I
it to
would
somebody
rewatch,
now for the
like-
first time who's never seen it and watch an episode and they go, "This okay."
Depends on the person. I would rewatch
I have
Frasier.
yeah.
Frasier's holds up because it was smarter. It was a smart show.
Kelsey,
But most of that stuff, Mad About You, doesn't hold up.
Cheers.
Darman Greg.
Doesn't hold up.
I think it's just because
Will
we're
and
all so
Grace?
cynical
Doesn't
now
hold
that
up.
we can't.
The
laugh
reboot
at
sucked.
stuff.
They brought Will and
They
Grace
brought
back.
it back, and like,
Yeah.
and every other thing was, we're gay. Like, okay, great. And Will and Grace originally it was, you happen to be gay, but life is going on.
Yeah,
they
now-
brought it back. It's like, we're gay. Like, okay, congratulations, do something. Nope,
Yeah.
we did it. We're gay.
Yeah.
So yeah, things don't generally hold up. So Roseanne's sense of humor, there are very few comics throughout the entirety of their career that maintain an edge and are funny. Most of that stuff, There was, if you go back to the 90s.
Well, they age out. They age out because
they don't age out. What's funny
I'm not, and guys, I'm not saying that that's what happened
George Carlin was
saying
able to buck that trend.
Yeah.
George Carlin was funny because he was smart throughout his entire career. Most comics, they seize on something, they seize on a shtick. Where's Stephen Wright? Stephen Wright was huge at one point. And his deadpan delivery about everything. Now, is he even still alive? I don't even know. Yeah. You think about any comedian from the 90s, Chris Rock, it sort of happened to Chris Rock. If he hadn't been slapped by Will Smith at the Oscars,
he kind of went to
I'm
acting
not sure
too, though. He went like
he did. But the Eddie Murphy in the 80s, Eddie Murphy Raw and Delirious were the funniest things that probably had ever been put on tape. And now Eddie Murphy doesn't do stand-up anymore because I think his movies were hilarious. And then his movies started to suck.
Oh, Married with Children holds up.
But he was playing the same character. He was doing the same jokes.
Chris Rock.
It's just we'd seen it already.
Chris Rock stuff was also very topical for the period of time, right? So I Bigger, Blacker, Roll with the New, all those albums.
Bigger, Blacker was that the first one? The
first
one was hilarious.
Yes,
that was
saying, but
great.
it was like 90.
No, Bigger and Blacker was the second one.
It was 96, right?
There was one before that was absolutely hilarious.
The one that he did in 96 was very pressing because it was right around the time OJ happened.
Yes.
And that was a very big deal.
I remember the joke
OJ
about I'm waiting for my OJ money in the mail.
Yes.
What are you so happy about OJ getting off?
Exactly. So that was very prescient because of the time period.
Yeah.
It was very relevant to the time period. But I find all of those things funny now because it was part of my childhood. If I was to listen, if somebody new was supposed to listen to that now, it wouldn't make any sense to them because they wouldn't understand the cultural relevance of O.J. Simpson.
But he's also been surpassed as he was the comedian of the moment, the top comedian, and then it's Chappelle now.
Yeah.
It's Chappelle now. It was Louis C.K. for a while, and then he had some nudity problems, and then it became Chappelle. And there will be another one that comes along, and then you'll look back at the comedy special, and you go, well, that's amusing because I remember why it was amusing at the time in the context when it was recorded. But to people now, I mean, if she's going to make a show for people who loved Roseanne, the TV show, and loved her stand-up back in the 90s, then it'll probably be fine. If she's trying to attract a new audience, I think she's going to have difficulty doing
I don't think that all of these right-wing commentators were Roseanne fans. I think they're just happy that someone from the establishment media is approving of them.
Somebody's pissed off the left, so I'm going to embrace them mentality, which is wildly stupid. Because then you're
Is your point about Roseanne just that, women can't be funny?
No, I don't need to make that point. That's science.
So true. Stop. So true.
Somebody points out, look, Chappelle was a long time ago, too. He's got more staying power than a lot of people because the Chappelle show was popular before memes were even a thing.
Chappelle has been granted a power through the media of, like, oh, Chappelle has taken on this issue. It's like suddenly it matters. Like, it just got real. Chappelle talked about it. Yeah. And they do that every once in a while. And they'll elevate people and then they'll collapse them. It doesn't. Chappelle's hilarious. Don't get me wrong. But he does not. He can take a bath. Yeah. He can't. He doesn't walk on water. He can actually submerge himself in water. He's a human being like everybody else, and the press is more like it's the opposite.
$20 one there from Baron of Gray Matter.
Your guest is wrong. The audience has been trained to be offended and embarrassed at anything edgy or non-politically correct. I'm 65 years old. We knew what comedy was, and I hear they would never get away with that now. Why?
Well, I love the movie It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. I think that was made in 1966. It's funny to me, but most people nowadays would not watch it and go, there'd be moments, but they're like, what the hell is that guy with the big nose? And what's this big W? Things get dated. Things change. That's what happens. It's not that people are offended now, although that's certainly an influence. It's that people find different things funnier.
We also lost Norm Macdonald recently, which is another one who was very, very, like, to me, I grew up in the Saturday Night Live era when he was doing Weekend Update. That was Saturday Night Live for me. Yeah. Obviously, the heyday of Saturday Night Live was a different, for a lot of other people.
Well, it's whatever it was when you were in high school. People were like, oh my God, nobody's funnier than Chevy Chase. Like, really? You try to have a hard time trying to convince anybody that Chevy Chase was really funny.
I know. Right? Well, plus everybody hates him because he's just mean.
He's supposedly a jerk.
He's like a really, like, everybody, like, there's no good stories of Chevy Chase on set. It's all that he's a bad person.
Saturday Night Live
for 1 year.
He was on Saturday Night Live for 1 year. And it launched him, and he started making movies, and he made really funny movies. Yep. Caddyshack, Foul Play, Seems Like Old Times, all in the late 70s. Great movies. And then I don't know.
But, but comedy,
times change.
Comedy used to push the envelope, but the problem now is that there's so many minefields with what you're allowed, like what topics you can actually. Used to be everything was fair game.
That's
now,
what makes
now
South Park
it's
great.
more limited.
They don't
and
care.
limited.
They just do it.
South Park is grandfathered in though because they've been around since before that was.
It's that they don't care. They don't care, and they are allowed to do it. In the comedy room,
That's what I mean by
comedy goes
grandfathered
to
in.
die.
They're allowed to do that.
In the writing, no, they choose to do it. There's like 5 people that write that show. They choose to do it.
They're meant to be offensive.
Yeah, but in the writing room, they're like, we can't say that. We've got to make sure that we've got a Benetton ad around the table and everybody's on board with every single joke, and we can't touch
But
this
I'm
stuff.
saying if they make that show now, the network's going to come in and say you have to have this many writers that look like this. You're going to have this many women.
yeah.
You have this. They are grandfathered in. It's the same with Always Sunny in Philadelphia. They are allowed to be that way because they started before all of the cultural shift.
Well, they also refuse to do it.
Yeah.
Like they have control of their shows with all the streaming services, with the ability of just somebody to put it up on YouTube. You could do your own thing, but the people who write it now are like, oh, you're going to be can't say that. What? No, we can't do that.
Is there a Roseanne show that you would want to watch? Is there a type of Roseanne show that you'd want to watch?
Well, I wonder what the
Roseanne speaks at the synagogue.
She actually did I think a Fox Nation special recently. That was like a comedy special thing, and so I think that was kind of her way to kind of break back in. I wonder how much frequency this is going to be, because if it's a daily thing or even just a weekly thing, a lot of comedians, they're at their best if they have time to develop material. I know people who, went into trying to do daily shows and things who are comedians, and they got really lazy because it just got to the point where they stopped even doing humor because
not a lot of ideas come out that frequency.
They needed time to work on stuff and maybe even do some stand up in different places to kind of work on material. And if you're constantly doing material every day, there's going to be stuff that's going to fall flat. And I mean, I'm curious how much frequency it's going to be for her to do this.
Daily would be way too much.
Yeah.
Not really plausible. There's a $20 super chat there. I don't think you want to read it.
How about you read it, Brad?
I'm not going to read it. It's Cody Bedreau says, my sister and I, as we cuddle on the couch, this is him saying this, are wonders who mom and dad are in the show today. That's the words. I just read the chat. Okay, your chat has been read, Cody. Cody likes to give us very, very super chats that inflict the ick. He likes to inflict the ick. So,
why is that ick? Who cares what he's doing? I imagine everybody out there typing his pants.
That's the yuck of the day.
Who cares?
Yes, that's yuck of the day. I think frequency is the problem, right? You can't release stuff like this every day. I mean, even back in the day, the shows weren't coming out daily; they were coming out weekly, and it needs time to produce.
What if she did a late night style show, like an interview style?
I mean, I don't know if her brand lends itself to an interview style show.
Because it has to be about Roseanne.
Didn't she do a show, or am I thinking of somebody else?
Might be thinking of somebody else. Maybe she did, but I don't know if that would work. But we'll see.
It's late night, but she invites people on to be the host that asks her questions.
That's a good idea, actually. It could be about somebody has to declare themselves the most interesting man or woman in the world, and then every night a different person comes in to talk to them, not them talk.
If
to the other
Roseanne
person.
and Andrew Tate do a talk show together, I might die of cringe.
She could do something
might
with
actually
Theo
kill
Vaughn and
What if
Andrew
they did a
Schultz.
porn?
I don't think Andrew Tate would do that. I don't think he would be
If
interested.
there's a Bugatti in it, maybe he will.
All right, let's go to
Bugatti.
super chats, Mary.
Corey Anderson said, Brett, did you tell Hannah Claire I said what's up yesterday?
I have not seen her yet.
Mary, how you doing? I'm fine.
I have not seen her yet, but I will remember. I promise to pass along your what's up.
The Ninja said, happy 421, fellas. Sorry I'm so late. I forgot my bong.
Whoa, bro.
Just don't spill the water.
Let's do one more and then we'll move on.
Gordon Shumway said, Mary is full of surprises. First, we find out her mom and grandparents were on Oprah. Now we find out her uncle built a bunker. What's next, Mary?
Wait, your mom was on Oprah?
Yeah, in the 90s.
For what?
They did an episode that was like political differences between family members. Her and her dad were Republicans. My grandmother was a Democrat in the 90s. That obviously was different.
How did they get to? Were they you out from Chicago?
Yeah, they
Okay.
were flown out to Chicago.
No, I mean,
to do
how
it.
did you get discovered if you're not from Chicago? Where's your family from?
Oh, from Maryland.
Okay, so they.
How did they come to
I guess
the attention of
was
Oprah?
from- yeah, how did they come to the attention of Oprah?
I guess I would have to ask.
It just seems kind of random. That
Oprah was
mean,
just
they
walking
probably-
by her house one day
How did
and
you
saw
end
them
up on
arguing.
Oprah in the 90s?
Hey,
Did you
Oprah
have
is-
to like call a number? I don't know about the
Oprah is
pre-internet
from
age.
Baltimore. Did become famous in Baltimore, so maybe they know somebody who knew Oprah, and they thought, oh well.
I don't think there was a personal connection.
She was
but-
walking by the street one day, and your mom and
Didn't you,
grandma
like,
were arguing about
write
politics.
a letter? You write a letter in to
Gail
Oprah.
ratted your parents out. Gail King.
All right.
Should do a genealogy show for Mary and just
But it's just here's why I'm so crazy.
I'm curious to know how you get on the radar of Oprah.
Let's move on, shall we? TV reality stars are declaring war on NBC Bravo. They're alleging S-word exploitation, mental health exploitation, all sorts of crazy things
Yes.
in this form here. Mary, do you want to read about it?
The investigation is still ongoing, but we have reason to believe cast members and crew members on NBC reality shows have been subjected to disturbing mistreatment by NBC and its employees, contractors, and affiliates. This includes, but is not limited to, deliberate attempts to manufacture mental instability by plying cast members with alcohol while depriving them of food and sleep, denying mental health treatment to cast members displaying obvious alarming signs of mental deterioration, exploiting minors for uncompensated long-term appearances on NBC reality shows, distributing and condoning the distribution of non-consensual pornography, covering up acts of sexual violence, refusing to allow cast members to the freedom to leave their shows, even under dire circumstances.
I love the idea
Refusing
that
to allow cast members to leave kind of sounds like trafficking.
That seems like
Yeah.
imprisonment, false imprisonment. Like you cannot.
The guy,
hold
okay, we were
somebody
talking
in
about this the other day because there were a couple of guys who were on Love is Blind. Have you guys seen this show?
No,
It's
I
okay.
know of it. But
so
I've
it's like
not
a
seen
dating
it.
show where they bring these men and women together, but they get to know each other where a screen is between them. They don't get to see each other until they decide to get married.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple of guys who were on Love is Blind decided to create their own version of a SAG-AFTRA, but for reality television stars, because they're getting exploited and their mental health is not taken seriously enough, blah, blah, blah. And they said that they were, like plied with alcohol, not allowed to sleep, drink water, have food, whatever. They said that they were sent to their hotel rooms and not allowed to have a key. And they had their wallets taken away from them. They didn't have money or ID. But it just seems like you have the ability to leave at any time. But
Yeah,
now
two
they're
words,
alleging
I
that they
quit.
weren't allowed to leave.
I love the idea that the CIA
Love is
is
Blind
like
is
taking
Netflix.
notes right now.
Love is Blind is run by Netflix, not NBC. But I assume that reality shows have the similar protocol of getting everyone drunk to fight with each other.
Wednesday on TBS is Hump Day, where they have like Temptation Island and the divorce show or whatever, where you just get around and your ex.
What about
spouse-
MILF Manor?
It's
I want to
like-
know what
Yeah.
the rules were on MILF Manor.
You're not dealing with smart people here. And of course, there's bars prominently featured in every single thing. Like they're getting hammered.
You know who's pissed about this
nonstop.
is the real actors who don't get to drink real alcohol when they're shooting their movies, and they're like, these guys are over here. They get to actually drink the whiskey.
I said it seems like a sweet deal because you're getting free drinks
You're
the
not
entire
dealing
time.
with mentally stable people if
Yeah.
they're like, yeah, you know what? I'll talk to somebody through a screen until I decide if I want to marry them. That's not normal. That's not
No.
good. That's
But
not
most of them
healthy.
they're
Not-
doing it
not
to
right.
get followers on Instagram,
Right.
and then afterwards they can do brand
They get the
deals.
reality shows, and then they get here's the reality show reunion of reality shows.
That's
and here
a big
we got
thing
people
now.
from
Is
reality shows.
they all do the reunions, right? And that's, was it like Ariana Madix and the other guy from what is the one in the UK? The
Love Island?
No, it's not. It's another one. I see
Big Brother?
Tom Sandoval. I don't know who these people are, but people are constantly talking about them.
Scandal. I am very familiar with Bravo,
Okay.
but no,
Yes.
I'm not proud of it, but I am.
Is it the Vanderpump Rules?
Yes.
show?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and they're everywhere. They're everywhere.
They are everywhere, and then you've got the crossovers. I love what is
knows
it?
them all.
This one on the ship, Below Decks, and now they're going on to Summer House. The people from the Below Deck, and they're going on Winter House, and they're doing all this. They're getting recast to
Yeah.
be yourself and go get hammered somewhere with a whole bunch of people while
Doesn't
they film
sound
it.
like
Gary's like, that
exploitation
sounds
to me.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's
paid to
fine,
drink and just be myself.
But then you can't go,
people?
oh my God, I'm so exploited. You know what you're
No.
signing up for.
Mary's like, outside of not having my own hotel key, that sounds like a great time.
I mean, you could just call the front desk and ask for one. I don't.
Seems like you should be able to open the door from the inside. I know. I've never been in a hotel room where
Yeah.
they're like, I don't know how this lock works and I'm stuck in here.
Or is the idea that like if you can't get back in, you're disqualified or something like that? Like, okay, so they're claiming that like maybe we should focus more. Like this is all funny, but the whole exploiting minors thing sounds like an even bigger lawsuit. Like in this case, they're talking about like what
They
these
weren't
people
paying them
they
for
have
their
kids and they're like, yeah,
appearances.
bring your kids with, and they're
That's
just like,
what MILF
sweet.
Manor was. They invite all the
Yeah.
MILFs and they invite their sons, and they don't tell the sons what the show is about until they show up.
These are adult sons.
Yes.
Though, right?
Yes.
They're
They're
not
in their early
toddlers.
20s, and they
Yeah.
have to. They set up the sons with other moms.
and
I can't wait.
Rome
Which
Falls.
network's going to do like Incest Island? Like you can't get out of your hotel
I mean,
room
it was
until you
pretty
make out with your
close.
sister.
Well,
There was the one in the UK that was about like it was literally a show about like thank you about like letting kids watch like adults get naked and claiming it was educational, and that was the whole show.
Yep.
And you're just like, what? What? Like they were like, it helps kids understand that there's different body types.
There was
I'm
a
like,
college professor in Canada who just this week said that in order to acclimate children to trans people being around them in locker rooms or whatever, that children need to be exposed to genitals of everybody of various ages at irregular intervals as children. Like
Just bring Harvey Weinstein and
You're tenured pedophilia. That's what you're calling for.
yeah, and this is the world we live in now, where when people talk about, for instance, when we're talking about whether these movies have cultural impact, well, these shows get made, and sure, it seems nuts to us, but eventually there will be kids who grow up with this stuff, and it will be completely normal because to them this is normal entertainment. There's a $20 one there from Baron of Grey Matter.
You've made my point. People today don't understand satire, irony, or nuance. If it isn't Idiocracy version of Ow, My Balls, they won't watch it. Reality TV is safe for networks and easy money.
Nuance and satire are harder to read through text.
It's also cheap to produce, and you don't have to hire writers during a writer's strike. You don't have to hire actors during an actor's strike.
It proliferated in 2007 during the writer's strike when a lot of reality TV shows. There's still I always point out there's this amazing article that says it blames the rise of Donald Trump on the 2007 writer's strike
That's true.
because of The Apprentice.
They're afraid
that
of being replaced by artificial intelligence now. 2007 proved that they could be replaced by no intelligence.
That's true.
I have gotten into Love After Lockup, and
You're welcome.
and I know he got me into that, and then Married at First Sight. And at first, it's entertaining, and it's like, oh my God, these people are insane, because you kind of associate them as characters,
Not as actual human beings.
And then you start to feel really like I feel dirty after watching this, because I'm almost. I just feel bad.
You start
for these people.
from laughing
These-
at them
these-
to like feeling bad for
it's
them,
like,
and then dirty.
This poor girl's got daddy issues, and she's dysfunctional, and she needs help. Like she
You
needs
and I
God.
see Ariana
She needs
Grande.
God. She needs God. And I just.
They're what Britney Spears would be without the money.
Yeah, in a lot of ways. And like you said, like I guarantee you there is some like director there who's like, give us the they need God scene. Like everything. The idea is
that's
like
never going to
by
happen.
the end of the scene, what everyone should be feeling is those people need Jesus.
What they do is
No.
they'll find your worst moment. So your fiance cheated on you, and like you've probably moved on from it because you've been writing
you got
pen-
him drunk on
you've
set
been,
and
you've been
then had
writing
him.
pen pal letters to him while he's in prison for trafficking meth from Mexico, and you like expected him to be faithful to you. He was actually writing a whole bunch of other women and getting money from them. But the producers then their job is to remind you every time you forget. You're having to go, remember how he cheated on you. Remember how he cheated on you. They're like the best friend who hates the boyfriend. Just constantly go, yeah, no, I'm glad you guys are together again, but you remember how he cheated on you.
Well,
That's the job of a producer in a reality show is just to keep bringing up crap that you've gotten over so you never get over it so they can milk it. Because if they get you to squirt some tears, That's Emmy gold.
Well, and from a film producer perspective, you're constantly thinking, okay, they're constantly forcing a camera in your face after you just found out somebody, the most devastating news of your life. They constantly are like, okay, camera in your face, camera in your face. They're tracking you, they're following you, they're going to the bathroom. I mean,
We didn't get that shot when the phone was when you heard
could you
that
do
your
that
aunt
again?
died. Could you,
Yeah,
would you mind just
yeah.
holding
They're
it
like,
up?
by the way, you can't have anything to eat, and here's some alcohol.
Yeah.
No, we don't have a sandwich for you, but we do have some tequila.
And now we've brought your kids into it. They have to be on board with what you're doing right now, too. So,
What do you guys think of the call to unionize reality TV stars?
Oh, let them, because it'll
Sure.
put themselves out of business.
Brett, play the video of Bethany Frankel at the end of this article.
Oh,
She agrees with them.
Here we go.
I know you were very vocal about saying reality stars need a union because they rerun over
That
and over
sweater.
again these episodes. Would you consider taking on that task and
Thanks.
kind of going full throttle?
I am about to go to the library and take out the idiot guide to starting a union. I literally know nothing about it, like I knew nothing about relief work or anything else I've ever done. Launching a liquor brand, starting a podcast, launching a YouTube series. But I will certainly, I
Gotta do
literally
the
have no idea
shameless
what it
self
takes to run a
promo there.
union, but I know I can do it.
That's
Has
how you
someone
can tell
reached out
she's
to you,
sincere.
like maybe friends and pals and saying, you know what, I want to join in. Can you name some of them?
No. So many, over 100 very well-known reality stars have reached out to me, and chairmen of major companies have said that I'm right on with the terms I'm about to post in the next hour that I think are fair, but subject to modification because I wrote them overnight at 5 o'clock in the morning preparing for Mark and Kelly.
So would you consider them striking and not like filming?
I think that people should boycott the television shows that are running at reruns forever, and the originals. And I think that the reality stars in production now, like people like Vanderpump Rules, that have the power because we are the losers of the entertainment industry that right now are the workhorse mule B-list people that are going to be the clowns.
B-list?
The Dog and Pony Show, make a fool of
Right.
yourself. You cheat on somebody, rip someone's hair out, go broke, and live that on TV for the rest of your life without getting paid. We're the ones who are going to be trying to, the jugglers, the circus animals, that they're going to want to fill in the content that A-list Hollywood is going to negotiate. And it's the reality reckoning, and the Bethany clause is changing today.
I do like that she's going to take the book out of the library and
Yeah.
not buy it.
The idiot's guy. Is she currently on a reality show? I don't know that she is.
I don't know.
Which might be
I
part
don't
of why
watch
She
she's
was
reality
on Real
TV, but-
Housewives.
I know she was, but I don't think she is anymore.
I
because-
think
which might
B-list
be
is a
part of
little
why
bit-
she's
She's the
pissed.
founder of
Generous.
Skinny Girl brand.
Which
Well,
it might
her-
be why she's
her
sort of
skinny
pissed.
margaritas are great. They're actually really good.
Oh,
Well, they're probably applying them with.
that's what she's like. She sells the network her booze so that
Yeah.
they can give it to the actors.
That's why
Makes
nobody.
sense.
I can't take anybody in that sweater seriously though.
It was an interesting choice for a sweater. I'll give her that. Right?
It's 3D. No.
It looks kind of like looks like the Twitter bird on the side. It kind of looks like
A little
the
bit.
Twitter logo.
It's
on the
available
side of
now.
it. Yeah, she could use that now. And now she has to replace it with X logos on
I
the
wonder
side.
what she would have gotten had she won the bet.
Yeah, like it says something about society though, like because a lot of reality TV, like someone like you guys, you watch it, like you understand that what you're watching is a guilty pleasure. I don't know if the next generation of people who are growing up with it will look at it that way. It's just going to be what entertainment is
Well,
to them.
everyone wants to be a social media influencer now, and so then that's really the next extension of what reality TV is. So,
For them, the way to get there is be on the reality show.
We have a
Even
problem in society.
social media.
What's
and
the
I wrote
problem?
about this in my book. The line between famous and infamous is gone. It's just about getting attention.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how you get it. It's just about getting attention. So you can be a complete weirdo, nut, psychopath, self-destructive, smearing feces on yourself in the middle of an intersection. You'll get attention, you'll get views, you'll get and it's just about getting attention. I think it started back with Paris Hilton and the porn tape that her ex-boyfriend released. And there was no... Oh man, that's
the
kind of
Kardashians.
embarrassing.
And the
And then the
Kardashians.
Kardashian business model followed. It goes, we've got one too. Ray J was the famous one in the video, but they monetized that. Normally, people would go like, God, I'm kind of embarrassed, and I'm gonna stay home for a couple of weeks. No, they went out and said, screw it, and good for them. But then society said, yeah, well, I want more. That girl I never heard of before that I saw having sex with the rapper. I need to know more about her. And people just started realizing it's just about just get attention. It doesn't matter, good attention, bad attention. There's no difference anymore. and it's just about getting it. And then social media came in and said, if you get enough attention, you can make a lot of money. And you've got these vapid morons out there going, I'm a social media influencer. Here, buy this brand, do this, do that, do the other thing. And Bud Light drives a Brinks truck up to your house and dumps it out on your front lawn with, if you're Dylan Mulvaney, and like nobody thinks about whether this is good or not anymore.
I also wonder if Hollywood has recovered from the pandemic yet, with the movie sales down and I realized streaming went up, but there was a lot in Hollywood that was hurt financially. So to do all these strikes, I just wonder how much, like, keep asking for more money. Do they have all the revenue there to actually fulfill the dreams of all these, people that want to do that? Because is the entertainment business making as much money as it used to? And I don't think it is. So then if you add in the reality TV, which is a cheap product, also having union demands as well, that's also going to hurt. And then they're already filming in Canada because they're trying to get away from unions and taxes. And they
go to Georgia. Remember they hated Georgia, and then they're like, but they do give good tax breaks.
Chicago too. Chicago does the same. That's why all those Dick Wolf shows film in Chicago.
You love the Transformer movies.
I do.
And the one set in Washington, D.C., whichever one it was, when they're walking around. Yeah, because there's like skyscrapers. There's nothing in D.C. more than 10 stories tall.
It's the same thing like when you watch the show Suits, and I'm like, that doesn't actually look anything like New York, but sure, I guess. Like, it's close enough. Also, one of the problems is like the blueprint for from famous to infamous are Kardashians and the Hiltons, who were all insulated by money anyways. They were already part of families that had large financial infrastructure that could build on that. When a regular person does that, it just ends up sad and pathetic. It doesn't work for them. It works for somebody like them.
But you know what?
Nicole
You
Richie.
don't hear about those people. You don't see those people. They end up on Love After Lockup. They don't end up as people on Below Deck as the people renting the luxury yacht.
I do think you're right, though. Like, one of the things that I think that has become a mix-up, and I think the actors might buy into it, is they think that these studios are like, they're shuffling around and they're hiding all this money they're making. No, I think they're hiding the numbers because nobody's actually watching this crap. Like, you're making 10,000 shows, and for every, sure, Abbott Elementary might have done fine, but for every other show that you make that nobody's ever heard of, nobody's watching that, and they think they're hiding money from them, when in reality they're not releasing the numbers because they don't want to say, we made this show and literally nobody tuned in to watch.
Well, didn't Tori Spelling do a reality show with her husband? Wasn't that like 5 kids or something?
She's just in the news today. It's like she's like living in an
trailer
RV
park or something.
Yeah.
Really?
That's the sad
Her
part.
mom seems like a real piece of crap.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
But I think that's the sad part about a lot of these
You got a
reality
house
people,
that's
is
a
that they
whole
just
zip
end up in
code,
an RV.
and you let your kid and grandkids go.
That's Aaron Spelling's daughter, right?
Yeah, she used to live in a mansion.
She used to live in the biggest house, one of the biggest houses in California, if not the country.
Let's be fair. If we wait long enough, that's a reality show waiting to happen that she could actually monetize.
Look, if she had the residuals she deserves from 90210, this would not have happened.
How do you guys feel about residuals?
I didn't know how I knew the concept of them, but I listened to the Victory, the podcast, the guys from Entourage. My third Entourage reference, Doug Ellen, what's up? The residual, if you got paid, this is the way it was explained by the guy who played Eric on the show, who runs the podcast. If you got paid $1 million for an episode, per episode, and then they rerun it on a network, the first time you get is 90% of what your pay was. So you get 900,000. Then it was really basic. I'm sure it's more complex than this, but then it's 800,000. Then it goes down each time, but it's never nothing. So it's fine. I remember everybody who made sitcoms in the 50s, 60s, and 70s got absolutely screwed, and all the Brady kids were broke and having to work fast food jobs.
William Shatner got nothing.
Because they got residuals for like 3 years, and then that was it. They want to talk about a time when a union was necessary. That's the thing. When I was going to college in 99, there was a strike of the writers, the newspaper writers in Detroit. There are 2 papers, the News and Free Press. And they were on strike for a long time. And the political science teacher I had gave us credit if we went to a union rally on campus. So it was really easy. If you'd have closed your eyes, you'd have thought it was 1920 and like nothing had changed. Unions were absolutely necessary, and they never changed. They stopped being necessary in the way they were necessary before. They might be needed now for certain things, but they're not necessary. People aren't being ripped up in turbines and the family get a ham and they're sorry about your loss and then move on. Yeah. Times have definitely changed, but the unions don't seem to have recognized that, and they don't change. And so you end up in a situation where a lot of people, they're making demands, and most people are like, you're arguing for a pension. What the hell's a pension? Nobody gets a pension anymore. They're arguing for things that people don't understand. They're out of touch, and they've outlived their usefulness because they haven't adapted.
Well, they also don't do anything most of the time. So they just want a cut of they just want a certain percentage each year. And I mean, even like in the radio business, everyone who's on air has to pay a union fee. And, is the union negotiating your contract every year? No, it's not. It's not. They're not helping you financially whatsoever. So it's like, what are they useful for?
And well, when I was thinking of residuals, I was thinking think about the people who have like long-standing patents or created something of actual societal value, right? Like, is there really a drastic difference, at least in the free market, between a product of actual value to society or something that's simply being rerun on a network television where they can slap ads on it and then you know exactly how much you're going to get from a cut of that episode because there's ads attached to it. But when they do it on these streaming services, there's no ads attached to it.
It's wildly different.
And there's no way to know that the people watching it signed up specifically for that show. There isn't actually a solve for
this. But they
Not
believe in the legitimacy of the studios more than the studios do. They think just because their show is on Netflix that it's making oodles of money.
Yeah, well, how?
And
how
they think it's more popular than it is because it has the stamp of legitimacy that it's on a streaming platform.
I have almost every streaming service, but I keep only certain ones for specific shows. There's no way that streaming service knows that I keep that streaming service just for that show. Like, the only show that could actually make that reference is probably The Office or Seinfeld, which is what is going to happen as the strike goes on. Everyone's going to fight for The Office. Everyone's going to fight for Seinfeld and Community, and everything else goes by the wayside because you don't know if the people who signed up for it's basically a big pot, right? It's not like ads, which are targeted to specific shows at specific times. I mean, ad rates vary wildly just on time of day when they come out, let alone everything on the streaming service at the same time. You don't know why if they're watching it for this show, you don't know how long. So do you divide it by hours watched, minutes watched? There's no financial blueprint for something like that right now.
No, there isn't. Like, you're right, very few shows that people keep the service for. I guess you can see an influx.
Yeah.
They have an algorithm. It has to be based partially on the honor system, but people should get something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think residuals, it's very much depending on your agent and your contract negotiation. Now, sometimes they'll say, well, do you want the part or not? Well, but residuals should be in every contract.
It would be better if they're just paid more up front, right? Because if I commission you to do a painting for me and you become a wildly successful artist and I paid you 10 grand for the thing and I can resell it for $100 million, you don't get a piece.
Yeah.
You don't get a say. So pay people enough up front and then residuals aren't that much of an issue.
Mary, $20 one right there.
Benrick5 said, does Mary feel she isn't as smart because she doesn't have glasses tonight? Because as much as we love Brett and the guests, Mary is why we come back. Controversial? Nope.
Hey, I will turn this podcast around right now. I will take us off air if you're not careful there.
I don't normally wear glasses.
No.
So
I don't unless I'm reading.
Yeah.
And so I've got two screens in front of me.
We were just looking at that article earlier where we were talking about, was it Disney? They cancel a show after 3 seasons.
Yeah, they don't cancel the show, but they reboot it under a different name so that they can continue underpaying the cast and the crew.
Well, science has shown that Disney is evil.
They re-released Hannah Montana and re-released The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody under a different name so that they could.
The biggest problem is the quality sucks.
And
they're terrible shows.
But really, at the end of the day, I'm sorry, but if you're trying to go toe to toe with Hollywood money men, Hollywood financial people, you're going to lose because they've learned how to not cook the books, but they know how to move the money around. They know how to write. Look at what was being done at Warner Brothers by just dumping stuff, writing it off as a loss. They know what they're doing. And right now we just saw another article that said that Warner Brothers just saved $100 million because of the writer's strike right now with all the things they're just not creating.
Well, they made Batgirl or whatever it was, and they for $200 million, and they said, We're never going to let
90
We're never going to let it see the light of day. We're never going to let it see the. They could have put it on HBO Max or whatever the hell it's called now, and I don't know, gotten something back. They probably could have recouped it even if it's terrible.
How do you make it
there.
back on HBO Max? I don't buy that $90 million.
You sell it to them. You sell it to
but
them.
they own it. It's Warner Brothers, so it's already owned by them.
Look, if a company buys something from another subsidiary of the company, they put it on somebody else's books. Warner Brothers comes out ahead.
So like, I don't buy that you're going to get $90 million worth of budget for a movie that's been kind
What's more, $25 million or no dollars?
But they wrote it off, and so the idea is that they get
you
to
understand what a write-off is you don't get to go 90 million. We'll just take that right completely off of our taxes.
But they're not going to get $90 million for it from another one of these streaming services either.
You want to talk about a screwed up tax system that incentivizes taking a $90 million loss rather than trying to recoup 25 million of it.
But it was part of the merger. When Warner Brothers was bought by Discovery, they had to write down, like they get rid of $4 billion worth of bloat. And that was just one of the victims of that requirement from Discovery. Like, look, we hired David Zaslav. He needs to cut $4 billion off of our books by the end of this fiscal year.
But if you don't think that you could have recouped a good chunk, if not more than you could write off of 90 million by releasing it, there's going to be a whole bunch of DC people who insist that DC movies don't suck.
But they're also not going to put
go to the
DC stuff on
too.
others. Like they're not going to put it on other streaming services because it's DC.
If you can't monetize that, how do you then monetize 200 million or whatever it was for the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League, and then let him do it again, and just this time in black and white?
But they did do that because that was for the launch of HBO Max, so it became about increasing signups at time of launch, which they said did.
It did, but then you want more signups, and you go, hey, here's another one, or stop cancellations, stop hemorrhaging cancellations.
Well, with a 4-hour
content,
movie,
you need to provide new content. Here's new content. Original content probably is horrible, but it's original content, and you go, nah, I'd rather set it on fire.
And DC, to be fair, is very bad right now.
Terrible.
And they've been very, very bad for a long time, which is sad because I'm a DC fan. The only thing that I've liked on HBO recently has not been, I tried to watch Gotham, but The Doom That Came to Gotham wasn't good. I did like the show Warrior, which is not a DC, it's just a regular television show, but in general, they're not exactly hitting the mark. I've been watching Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. That's what it's about. See, that's not going on strike. Guy Fieri's going to be continuing to go to
you
bars
got the
and
color
restaurants.
scheme of Guy's hair.
Yes,
you spike
I
that
do.
up.
I do.
That's
I don't
your
have
next
the car,
bet.
though.
Spike that up.
No.
Like Guy Fieri.
As the hair grows out, he's going to have the frosted tips.
Yes. Oh, gosh, help me. All right, let's go to Super Chat, shall we?
Kai said, I'm crazy for my friends here. Okay. Shane H. Wilder said, is Posty's bunker filled with Cane's sauce?
Maybe. I mean, he does
Is he
love
really
Raising
into Raising
Cane's.
Cane's?
I always wonder if maybe not for him, but for some people it's just a cope because they don't like the religious aspect of Chick-fil-A. So they're like, I love Raising Cane's, but really it's just they don't want to admit they like Chick-fil-A.
I don't think that's the case for Post Malone, though.
No.
Benrick5 said Cardi B threw the mic, but the track kept playing. Wasn't lip syncing a very controversial thing back in the day? Ashley Simpson, Milli Vanilli.
I mean, a lot of artists now, they don't necessarily use lip syncing, but they use like the tracking, right? Where like you can hear the vocal track behind them, but it's not as loud.
Yeah.
Rihanna at the Super Bowl was lip syncing.
Yeah. There was the big thing about Beyonce where like she had the big flourish while she performed the Super Bowl and did the national anthem, like took the earpiece out of her ear, but they found out later that it was pre-recorded anyways.
Yeah.
And she got very sensitive about it and then sang the national anthem live at like a press conference because she felt embarrassed that that they were like, why did you do that when you weren't even performing it live?
The argument
anyways?
was, like we talked about earlier, is if you're doing cardio and you're dancing around, you can't do everything, but you can tell when they're like singing with the mic and then they're off the mic and then they're on the mic and they're like, and there's no moderation in the vocals.
They're not there for the vocals. They're there to just bask in the presence.
Yeah, but
of
you can just watch an HD video and
Cardi
shake
B.
their ass. You don't need to pay $50 to see
I
it.
give them a pass if it's their authentic voice. It's the people who fake it is the one that is the hard part. Because I mean, if that person really did record that and that's their song, that's
They're
their
playing
voice.
the record.
Taekwondo guy says one Brett Cane's is awesome. I was merely asking that question about other people. I have no problem with Raising Cane's. I don't even eat Chick-fil-A chicken. I go to Chick-fil-A for the fries and the macaroni and cheese.
Because you're a child.
Yes, I am.
Kai, I can't read this one. I just don't understand what you're talking about. Something about Phil's roar yesterday.
No, well, Rebel Yell is it's a song.
What?
It's a Billy Idol song.
Did he say that in the super chat?
It says, I need the Rebel Yell at
That's
Phil.
not, need isn't spelled RYNRRD.
Oh, I'm down.
That is not how you spell
no,
need.
I'm down farther.
I have no idea what that means. You guys need to super chat in English.
I think
please.
that's supposed to be maybe really need.
He already gave you what you wanted.
Phil roared for him yesterday. Do one more and then we'll move on.
Shane H. Wilder said, we know the truth, Brett. You're going after Mary's blonde throne.
Yes, that's exactly what's happening. All right, guys, let's hold off on the rest. We'll come back. Gwyneth Paltrow's back in the news, and frankly, she's my favorite thing in Hollywood to talk about because unlike the Seth Rogans of the world who pretend to like you or I by making these stupid statements ahead of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, Gwyneth Paltrow isn't like you or I, and she has no desire to be perceived as like you or I. She's inaccessible. She has nothing in common with the average person, and she's just fine with that. This story says Gwyneth Paltrow is once again being called out of touch for listing her luxurious guest house in Montecito, California on Airbnb to combat, quote, widespread loneliness.
So you can pay to hang out with Gwyneth Paltrow
But
if
isn't
you're
the price
lonely.
zero? Isn't the price zero?
It says $0 a night. Booking opens August 15th at 1 p.m.
Yeah.
I think we should do it.
Yeah, do it. Do a show from
But it sounds
there.
like it should be a lottery system.
Totally.
Like whoever gets it first, maybe. She said, my Montecito home is my sanctuary for respite and mental clarity. Whether you're seeking a place for unexpected connection or for well-deserved solitude and reflection, when you come to stay, I hope you'll get as much joy out of the home as I do.
Let's watch the
Oh
video.
my God, she's such a pretentious asshole.
She also
even when
said,
somebody
"That's my
else
favorite
reads
part."
her words.
She said, I've loaded up your stay with some of my favorite goop essentials
How
to
many
nourish your body,
candles
mind, and
smelling
soul.
of her vagina are going to
Your
be
skin will
placed
be
throughout the
better
thing.
Free
afterwards.
goop candles.
Let's watch the video. It's the best part. Here we go. Hold on.
I'm Gwyneth Paltrow. Welcome to my Montecito home. Behind me is my beautiful little guest house, which I'm about to list on Airbnb.
She just looks like she always just took a Xanax.
A handful of.
Yeah.
Welcome. This is our guest house.
Her guest house is bigger than most
Wood-burning
people's houses.
fireplace, lovely little bar, the bedroom with nice high ceilings. In here, we've got a nice soaking tub, some of my favorite goop products. Your skin is going to be better when you leave than when you came.
yeah.
This is nestled right in nature, so you can come and have a zen moment with lots of light and fresh air. Another amazing thing we can do when you come and stay is we could have a little chef's dinner together in our wine room. And you can select whatever bottle of wine you like, and we can have a fantastic, cozy dinner with your guest and my husband. This is a really nice place to come and relax on one of the chaise-longue in the sun, have a nice swim. Okay, so
like a
do you
hotel
think this is a
pool. I
good
know.
place to put on Airbnb?
I think this is, I've seen a lot of homes, and I think this is one of the best homes I've ever seen. Yeah,
Thanks for that
I
powerful
have everything
endorsement.
from the
all
CEO.
set up and ready for you. Cannot wait to host you in the guest house. See you soon.
She is so out of touch.
I love
with
it.
reality.
I love that she's not trying. That's the best part.
And this was her caption. Loneliness is a human condition, but in the past few years, increased isolation and lack of community has made our lives even more fragmented. Airbnb had the brilliant idea of doing something to make the world a little less lonely. I'm inviting you to come stay in my guest house for a night. While we may begin as strangers, I hope we'll find connections and commonalities over a delicious meal. And this also is close to her Goop store, so you
Yes.
guys can walk to the Goop store together and buy vagina candles.
Also, even if
you get
even if
access
it
to
is,
the Bluetooth that controls the egg that's in. Never mind.
Also, like just to point out that like the thing said $0, right?
Yeah.
You'll notice that at the top of the screen there it does say paid partnership. So she is making money off this.
Well,
from
the CEO of
Airbnb.
Goop is in the video.
Yes.
Or CEO
Calls
of
it
Airbnb is there.
The
They're
Goop
in on
Mojo
it.
Dojo Casa House.
Yes. Look, I love it. I love the idea that like when whoever shows up, she's just going to be like trying to hide her disdain.
Yes.
And like they're gonna pick a wine. She's like, oh my god. Everyone know like you don't drink a red with that. You drink a white with that.
It's all $2 Chuck. She's replaced the entire wine cellar with $2 Chuck.
Well, because she's got to look like a normal person, right?
Yeah.
She's got to look like an everyday person, and just every decision you make, she's gonna look at you, sit down, and she's gonna be like, just
I know.
don't sit on my chair.
Yeah.
Another person said it's pronounced Ches Long. I've been out here my whole life saying Ches Lounge like a peasant. So out of touch, girls start making movies again and acting like you're a human.
I don't want
Who
her
could
to.
ever
Just
afford to
keep
stay
doing
there?
this.
Gwen, this is Instagram where normal civilians who can barely make rent each month, let alone eat, socialize. I mean, your target market is probably celebrities and rich people like yourself. Most of us could only dream to visit a fraction of a house of what you live in.
Also, like, are they going to be like are they going to have black bags put over their heads so they don't know the address for future?
I am not a Gwyneth Paltrow fan, but I don't get the anger toward her.
Yeah, that's making me like her more.
Yeah,
No, I love it. I find this whole thing
The
hilarious.
ski trial was gold.
Yeah.
People get physically angry at her. Like, okay, she's weird and she's trying to do something that's weird and she thinks she's doing good. And she's not coming at it from malice. She's just a weirdo.
I think she thinks she sounds authentic, and she sort of does. It's just she's a weirdo. So
I love she just looks medicated all the time to me. Like she doesn't get just like a single bottle of Xanax. She's Hollywood. She's got 2 bottles at all times.
Here's our lithium pile. Take your lithium. And
no, it's all from
Go by
her
the
Goop
pool.
products that make her so zen.
Have you followed her diet though? She's
People,
done
yeah, the
videos.
last time she got backlash on the internet was because they said she had an eating disorder because she has like bone broth for breakfast and only eats vegetables.
And to be fair, like it was a bad
like-
time to have that conversation because she looked really emaciated in that video. She's like, oh, I eat this. And she looks like she just had the
She thought
buckle
she
fat
looked good.
removal.
Yeah.
And she didn't look healthy in that.
Like, it's not easy to be skinny, rich white women.
Look, she
It's
is
not easy.
If you've ever been to any rich neighborhood, this is exactly what the wife of some rich CEO or some dude with a lot of money. All their wives are just like this, and that's why it's funny. She's just like you or I if you or I were rich, right?
Well, it's Montecito, right? So if she gets tired of them, she could just say, "Hey, go over to Megan's house." Make
I love how she's like, "Welcome to my Montecito home."
Yeah.
Well, okay, where are the other homes? Why is this one? I'd never given my geographic location in my home.
Oprah's over there.
Welcome
Meghan
to my
Markle's
crappy
over there.
basement Baltimore apartment. Come on in.
And I just I really do think that like this is where the acting lessons come in handy for her, right? Because she's going to be looking at every normal person that comes in there and just be like, they're so uncivilized. It's just like it's basically heathens being brought into my home. But what is this part about it costing $0? That's not possible, right? Because
Well, is it like?
Well, if Airbnb this is great PR for Airbnb. So it's like an ad. Instead of paying for $500,000 worth of commercials, they give Gwyneth Paltrow $500,000. They handle all the thing, and one person spends one night in there with one meal on one day where she's available and willing to make herself available for $500,000. We talked about Taylor Swift doing a private concert. This is the actor's equivalent of doing a private concert.
The best.
She said she's curated a haven to immerse you in the ultimate Goop retreat. Empower your mind with guided transcendental meditation
Even in print,
sessions.
she's horrible.
A relaxing day spa full of your favorite Goop beauty essentials. Fuel your body with nourishing Goop kitchen-inspired meals. And best of all,
I want somebody to
take
get
home
this.
valuable techniques to continue your
Do
journey.
this, have the dinner with the family, and right before the dinner, the couple drinks a huge bottle of Epicat.
It just throws up every.
No, but randomly they won't know when it happens. They have this beautiful chef's meal and it's all elegant. And they've uncorked the wine and everything. And then just suddenly you're like, oh, this is this is incredible. I love this is the best food I've ever. Like
The best thing
and I
that
want
could
it
happen
filmed.
is like she ends up being like the Airbnb host from hell. She's like, wash those sheets, wash them. Like everything needs
Shoes
to
off,
look,
shoes off, shoes off.
Everything needs to look exactly
tub.
like it looks.
You have to
off.
water all of her plants, feed her cat.
You got to clean up after the dog.
Like the women get the what was it, like the necklace vibrator that she was selling? Remember that?
Maybe
Like,
you can also try her UV rectum therapy.
Yeah, the vaginal spa, the little steam.
that could be like it's like it turns into like a joke segment where she's like, Gwyneth offers to do that with you, and just to see if the couple will actually do the.
Never go full Gwyneth. The full Gwyneth experience.
Is this a capitalist stunt? Yes. Do we want to stay at the ultimate goop retreat anyway? Also, yes.
Yes, it's
I would do it.
It's giving very early 2000s.
I would do it for free. I would do it for free for the story.
I think it is for free.
Well, I know, but that's it.
It's basically a lottery at this point, right? Like
Yeah.
there's people who run like financial firms that go through all that extra effort to make sure that their businesses are located like right by Wall Street so that their trades get in faster. They're just waiting right now to book the goop.
I bet there's one day, and that's it.
Yeah.
And it's one time, and that's it.
Yeah, and I think that this is basically the Airbnb CEO was standing right there, like, great idea, Gwyneth. I bet they are trying to set this up so other celebrities or semi-famous influencer, whatever, people who have nice homes, they're hoping they can do. This is like the tester site to sample, like to get people into the idea of, oh, you could actually rent out the guest
If the
house.
Airbnb CEO happens to be rooting through your bushes,
I just think of all the weird celebrities that could see. Bill Murray could do this. Remember,
Does Bill Murray have a home?
I always
I
make
think
fun
he does
of-
this to other people. He'll probably
He already did that in Zombieland.
Yes, exactly.
like Bill Murray, because he's so weird and so quirky. Like, come stay at my weird house, and he's like living in a library.
Yeah.
Like, I like that idea.
He's staying in a frat house.
Yes.
You get to like the fold out.
No, he's in the firehouse from Ghostbusters.
He's in the press box for the minor league baseball team. That he
If this becomes
from Minnesota.
No, there's one in South Carolina.
And the St. Paul Saints in
Durham
Minnesota.
Bulls,
I just found that out over 4th of July that he owns a part of that team.
If this becomes a regular Airbnb experience that they start doing with celebs or semi-celebrity people, you could have surprise guests as a part of the Airbnb experience. And then Bill Murray could be the occasional guy that they pay
What
to just show
celebrity's
up.
guest house would you want to spend the night in if you were to have dinner with them?
If I had to have dinner
you
with
get
them.
dinner. It's part of the full Paltrow.
Mary,
except you
you
get it with
first.
somebody else.
Kanye.
Kanye?
Yeah. He lives in a warehouse, though.
Does he?
It won't be very comfortable.
I don't know if there's a celebrity I care enough about.
It doesn't have to be actor. Could
Yeah.
be musician. Could be anybody. But they got to be alive.
I can't. Christopher Nolan. I'd like to talk to Christopher Nolan about
I think
movies.
talking to Christopher Nolan would be tough.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a tough
Awkward
conversation.
and funny.
I think he would answer you very directly and not expound upon anything. You just have to.
You have to keep asking questions.
Like, okay, yeah, but
He's
then
that
what happened?
friend.
We walked up the stairs.
You say,
yeah, but then what happened? Then we walked into the room. Like, okay, why don't you just tell the story, dude? What's wrong with
It's
you?
like when you ask him, he's like, "How's it going?" Good.
Yeah.
It's a start of a conversation. You're supposed to give me more than that, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just saying that because I'm thinking about going to see Oppenheimer again. But there's probably somebody that I'm not thinking of off the top of my head. What about you?
I don't know. Don't know.
You asked
I was
the
gonna.
question.
Well, I'm asking the questions, Heather.
I wouldn't mind Elon, but he has no homes. So he likes
You have to go to a Tesla
Stay
plant.
at Tesla.
Yeah, exactly. You'd
Tesla
have to
plant.
stay in a factory too.
I don't know. I mean, it'd be crotchety, but just Harrison Ford would be. I think it'd be
fun.
horrible to be around.
So you could gas him up about that bad Indiana Jones movie
the
that
Crystal
everybody
Skull is the
knows.
bad one.
Oh no, you
Temple
need
of Doom is
dial
bad
dial of
Or William Shatner, because I think William
William
Shatner
Shatner.
would be a blast.
Totally.
William Shatner would be really, really good. I'd be down for that one.
Clint
If you're ever on a long drive, get any of his audiobooks.
Oh, yeah.
He performs them, and they're well worth your time.
Okay. Look, I think this is interesting because it's like $0. It will end up being something that'll become more common, and then it's going to just
I
end
could
up being.
see it being too expensive, even at $0. To have to spend time with Gwyneth Paltrow. I just want to throw that.
I'm
out
telling you,
there.
I want to know how you get there. Like, she doesn't want you knowing her address. Like, she's not. This is not what's happening. She's not going to text you like she's not going to drop a pin.
No, it's going to be a whole thing where you're picked up with somebody who's going to pick you up. It's not going to be an Uber. It's going to be a driver, probably somebody who's
It's a
driven
goop
her around.
driver.
And they're not going to take the direct route. You're going to get the scenic route. The map says it's 20 minutes away. We'll be there Tuesday.
Yes.
You know,
They're driving back.
Are we in Cleveland right now? I just flew into LA. What the hell is going? And then you pull up to the place and you're nauseated and the car's heat is on, so you're not aware of what's going on. And then you'll be fine. You'll be thrown in the Olympic swimming pool or whatever, and then you'll forget all about it, and you'll be taken out in a burlap sack.
And by the time that's all done, anything you do will seem awesome. So the whole time will be amazing, right?
Well, imagine the detox process that Gwyneth has to go through after being around a normal person. Like, she probably would have to spend weeks just trying to Okay.
As you're leaving, a cleaning
Yes.
service is coming in to
Yeah.
to just clean, to just douse everything.
We
in
must
They're just
get
gonna
rid of
burn
this-
down the house.
We must get rid of the stench of these people.
She's gonna
burn
move.
a whole bunch of the candles that smell like my vagina. Yeah. All right.
Tip over a goop candle and accidentally burn the house.
All the wildlife in the neighborhood
And because
away.
it happened while working, it's a write-off. She'll get the insurance money, no problem.
It is disappointing that it's not the main house. She's just
Well,
doing
yeah,
the
it's
guest
not
house,
her
like-
$5 million so-called eco mansion
Yeah.
that has been 7 years of construction. It has an Olympic-sized pool, 4 bedrooms, and 2 acres of land. So you don't get to stay
Do
there.
you pee in the pool?
And how many snipers?
Would anyone notice?
How many snipers and security are
Oh,
around?
man.
Like you can't leave
I'm gonna
your
pee in
guest
Gwyneth
house.
Paltrow's pool.
Yeah.
Well, does she? Well, she has like kind of crunchy granola hippie security. Like they're big burly ex-military guys, but
Yeah.
they're all wearing like hemp, and like he's got a hemp holster for his.
Or they have a
for his-
crossbow. They don't even have a gun.
Does she get wildly pissed off if it's like a Chris Martin fan who just won't shut up
yeah.
about her ex-husband?
Oh.
I love it.
Wear Coldplay merch
Yeah, just
on your way to
Coldplay
the house.
and the boombox constantly playing Coldplay. I bet the new husband is like, yeah, this doesn't suck.
I'm
Her new
so-
husband is a surfer, I think.
See, it's right on brand. It's like
Yes.
she didn't marry the guy for him. She married him for his job. She's like, I'm only marrying a surfer or a dude who teaches yoga for a living.
Yeah.
That's it.
Put some whole milk in her guest house fridge, and she's gonna freak out. It's not oat milk or like or hemp milk.
And it's like the fridge will have locks on it, so
Yeah.
that she like.
What
you
if
can
the
only-
dinner you just order McDonald's and her and her husband have to
No,
try
I
and
get
choke,
Uber Eats here.
choke
Never
down
mind. That's what would
McDonald's?
be. I would do it with Donald Trump because he would get McDonald's, and I would just eat McDonald's with Donald Trump.
I
That's-
kind of want to watch him
yeah.
eat a well done steak with ketchup. I kind of want to see
Yeah.
that.
And a Diet
But
Coke.
I would enjoy making Gwyneth Paltrow try to choke down a McNugget. I just don't see that. It'd be like a 4 hours. She'd cut it. She'd use a knife
Or
and
she'd
fork.
take 4 hours
One
just eating
McNugget,
it.
make it 17 pieces.
She'd take the skin off.
I'm so down for this. We're gonna do this. All right. Do you think this is one of those things that you think it'll catch on? You think more celebrities will do something like
I
this?
think this is what they're trying to test
Who
right
else?
now.
Who else would do it? Who's another celebrity that would do it? I can't think
It's
of.
got to be a celebrity on the downslope. Let's just be honest. Gwyneth has
Slope.
passed. She's not. She's
Like
not.
a ski slope.
Yes.
She is not irrelevant, but she's not relevant for acting. She's not getting the lead roles anymore. She's getting.
She's not interested in
You
that.
go there and
She's
you
a
just ask
businesswoman.
a
But
bunch
she
of
likes
questions.
the attention.
Yeah.
She's had the attention for so long that she likes the attention, and it's a good chunk of money. I know it's a good chunk.
Actually, Meghan and Harry, I mean, they're on the downslope for income pretty soon. You know,
Ooh,
maybe
that would
they.
be good.
Can you imagine spending the night with Meghan and Harry?
You hear them fighting in the other room.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's not them fighting. It's her yelling at him and him just kind of having his
Or
head
he
down,
sitting in a corner, staring at the wall.
I told you to sell your gun collection. Now there's people here and it's dangerous.
Yeah.
It would be
You
fantastic.
get pajamas made with pictures of his real father all over them.
There's a $20 one there from Olivia Clare.
She said, hopefully you get a third crisis party. Happy Friday, everyone. Any good weekend plans at all? Thanks for all the joy you guys bring me every day. That's sweet.
Well, I'm glad that you like it because Dollclick is in the chat and Dollclick does not like this segment. Dollclick is very offended by this segment.
Why?
Somebody's a fan of Shakespeare in Love.
Yeah,
Never got
this
over
is,
it.
or the other thing is you
Sliding
go.
doors.
What you do is you go to her house and you ask nothing but questions like, "What was Robert Downey Jr. like?" I love Iron Man. He was great in that movie, and you just make her feel
No,
bad.
you ask her about movies she wasn't in. You ask it like she was the star of it. You know.
What was it like working
When you
with
worked in
Patrick Swayze?
Was it life changing?
Paul Newman in Color of Money, when you were there with Tom Cruise, what was that like?
Basic Instinct. That was fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. The one actress, just pick an actress that she always has to audition with.
Every,
Like, always
every
competing
Reese
for roles
Witherspoon
with-
movie. So when you were playing Johnny Cash's wife,
Or Drew
it,
Barrymore.
Yeah.
Or Drew Barrymore. All that time period would
Yeah,
be
any
that'd be
rom-com.
fantastic.
just constantly get it way wrong.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to super chats on this one.
Kai said, who's on Epstein's listen?
Is Listen List or Island, or is that like a mixture of both of them? I don't know. Isliston.
I'm not on that list.
That was the funny thing is like the number one thing that came out of the government once again supposedly telling us that aliens were real is that all the memes were like, great. Now can you tell us who the hell was on Epstein's client list? Like nobody actually cared about the alien. How did you guys feel about that? Once again, the government telling you that aliens were real.
I think they're real.
You think they're real?
Yeah. I mean, well, I watched the hearings, and you know, I don't know. I actually think that there are various, made up stuff, and people want to fantasize about various things about it. But I mean, there has been for a long time people who are pretty legit in their careers who have said, we see really bizarre things. Like, how is a random cube in the sky, like floating around, that has no thermal propulsion? I mean, well, but I mean, these are things.
I haven't heard that one in a while.
Sometimes there's things that are coming up out of the ocean. We've hardly explored our ocean, so we don't.
Outside, I don't know, was it 2 months ago, in the backyard, probably 9 o'clock at night, and we don't live that far from here. And I was putting food out for the birds in the morning, and I saw the weirdest damn thing in the sky. It was probably 10 rectangles of light going in a train motion.
Okay.
Just all in line, moving from horizon to horizon. What the hell is that? So I called her, and she's like, what? I said, come out here. She's like, what? And I don't know what. I don't know what it is. I filmed it. I grabbed my phone. I filmed it. It was silent. I watched it go from horizon to horizon. She came out, and I'm like, I posted it on Twitter. I'm like, what the hell is this? And it turns out that there's something called a... what is it? What's the
satellite train?
No, what's the Elon Musk internet company?
Skylink.
Starlink. There's a Starlink satellite train. It's a series of Starlink satellites that go across their low orbit, and you can see them. They reflect light or have light or whatever it is. It was the weirdest damn thing. I've always believed it. I was like, I remember thinking, what? Do I get the hell out of here? Do I grab everybody and put them in the car? Like,
is it actually swamp gas?
Don't we wish we had the bunker right now?
There are websites where you can, if it's clear night, you can see this thing, and you can know when it's going to pass overhead.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Weirdest damn thing.
Thank you.
It's just like, why did the government not want you to believe in aliens at some point, and why do they want you to believe in aliens now?
Yeah.
That's my question.
Hunter Biden.
I think whistleblowers.
Yeah. It's really funny, the swamp gas thing you mentioned, because like there's a show called The Librarians. It's based off a book series that got turned into like a made-for-TV movies called The Librarian. And there's like in the show it's this running gag where, because they're part of basically a library that goes and solves like not extraterrestrial, but like magical problems and all this stuff. They just introduce themselves as the librarian, and the people who they go to, like government agents, local police, they just go, oh, and then it's just never spoken of again. And they say, and you tell them swamp gas. Like whenever something's wrong and they ask what the hell was that, no matter how ridiculous it is, you just go, swamp gas. Swamp gas. So this is the problem.
Do you know that Paul Giamatti has a whole podcast devoted to alien and strange things that happen? Yeah, he's very much into it. I heard him talking to Dana Carvey the other day.
Where does he find the time?
I don't know, but he's so like
They're
into it.
only filming so many T-Mobile commercials where he needs to be Albert Einstein.
Well, he's done with John Adams, so
yeah, he's on the show Billions, or is that his brother? No, it's him.
No, it's him.
Nobody hires Marcus Giamatti anymore. That's not a thing. Paul Giamatti is the one.
Do you know who Paul Giamatti's father was?
No.
A. Bartlett Giamatti, the commissioner of baseball,
who
died in the early 90s.
Really?
While commissioner of baseball. He's the guy who banned Pete Rose for life. That Pete Rose said he had a deal that he would unban him after a certain amount of time, and then Bart Giamatti.
Never mind, I don't like him anymore.
Yeah.
Well,
put Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame.
Exactly.
One thing that he's talked about is that there is a theory that people who have UFO experiences, allegedly they might be actually having traumatic experiences in their personal life, like something.
It's probably true.
Like something like in their family, like ancestors, or something that happened that's traumatic, and they cover it up thinking that it's a UFO experience, or their brain changes it to something else. Mm-hmm. So that is a theory out there of what it is.
In the chats, Andrina says, I love Paul. He was on Billions. He was also in the Amanda Bynes movie, Big Fat Liar, with Frankie Muniz.
It's a great movie.
Love that movie when I was a kid. All right, let's hold off on the rest. We got one more to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, and this one is going to be a bit ridiculous. So let's have some fun with it. Doll, chill. It's just gonna be fun. We're just gonna have some fun here. This man paid $19,000 for a wolf suit, and he wears it when he's not feeling human. I'm gonna put the picture up on screen right now.
I never wear it out.
That's what it says in the article. I don't wear it out.
Japanese men wearing realistic, lifelike fursuits are terrorizing the public, and this needs to be stopped by the state.
It's creepy. It's creepy. It's
You
weird.
belong in an asylum.
No,
And
man,
it's
let them live. Let them live. I say, look, we're in an age now where, look, people back in the day would, whether they were furries or they were otherkin or all this stuff,
They kept it to themselves.
But now they've got money and they're high functioning and they're going out in their suits. I say, let them
call
be.
this high functioning?
Yeah.
Someone read Little Red Riding Hood way too many
Yes.
times and was just like,
Every picture that you look at, it gets scarier.
Yes.
Get that child away from you.
I know.
The kid looks surprisingly
Literally looks
unafraid.
like a pedophile.
Yeah, the kid is like, this is my weird dad.
I would say
Yeah,
that they
that's
probably
traumatizing.
they shouldn't
Sorry,
be allowed around the children.
The kid is remembering all this stuff, writing it into her
And then
memory
the
for
next
the
one,
therapist. to
he's
make it
hiding
easier.
behind a tree.
Yeah.
The wolf fanatic described how he invites friends over to his house and will dress up in his wolf costume.
He's got his mouth open
He's got
permanently doing it
friends.
in the ha kind of voice. Like ha. And he poses like that too. It's like weird. Ha.
The one behind the tree is the one that is particularly.
It's like, hey kids, I have candy.
But yeah, now the real one would be him driving a white van, like a panel van,
Wait, I
in
think
the wolf costume.
I think he can close the mouth. 'cause
In the
in
last
other,
full body picture, why is he acting like he's drying his nails? He's doing the exact opposite of jazz hands. Like, all right, I can't touch anything. Could you open this drawer for me? I need to get a fork. I can't do it.
Guy's got a job. Guy's holding down. He's holding down a job. He's got his own life. He can clearly afford to spend it on
He's got
this.
his
Leave
own
the guy-
life. He's got. I take issue with the. He's got his own life.
He's
thing.
got his own
Somebody with
life.
their own life isn't dropping 20 grand on a wolf costume.
He's making his own money.
He
Well,
looks at other humans in precarious situations and said, "I could help you, but I'm going to drop 20 grand on a wolf costume." instead."
Maybe we're the problem. Maybe if we weren't such a horrible race of humans, these people wouldn't feel the need to dress up as animals.
Stop acting
we're
hungry.
species.
Get out of my way. I've got to go pick up my $20,000 wolf costume.
one comment said, people will do anything to poop in public.
Well, that's just a day in San Francisco. So.
Yeah, he doesn't need to do that. You just move from
do
Japan to
that.
San Francisco. Actually, maybe that's what they'll start doing. People in San Francisco will start buying these suits,
Yeah.
what the government will do is they'll give them to the homeless people.
Yeah.
That way, they don't have to feel. They'll say like, look, they need it to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
It's to help them.
They're just wolves. They just
Yeah.
want to be themselves.
It's kind of logistically hard to shoot up when you're in a fursuit.
Imagine the mechanics of making this suit function in that way.
Yeah.
Can't work. Can't work.
And then the other guy who dressed up as a realistic collie.
We talked about that. Yeah.
We also talked about him. He special ordered his for a similar amount, like $15,000. It's people with too much money and not enough problems.
That's the world we live in right now. There's a Fisher Spooner song called "We Need a War."
And he posted videos of it onto his YouTube channel, which is called "I Want to Be an Animal." It's very simple in your face. I like it. And he got interviewed by this German TV station, and this German reporter was the one holding his leash, walking him around the city.
And that reporter's like,
tricking
I
people
went
into
to
petting
journalism
him."
school. I did 4 years of broadcast journalism, and I'm walking a human being in a fursuit around.
No,
And they're
that's
probably going,
saves,
I have $40,000 in student loan debt for this.
yeah. Well, that saves him, dog walker budget.
That's exactly right.
Who's gonna pick up the poop though?
Should we show the Daily? Because the Daily Wire
Yes.
made a video that they aped something that we did first, did we not? That Xavier did first.
It was Xavier's joke that he
Yes.
said on the show about the woman on the plane. That MF is not real.
Here it is. Let's watch this, ladies and gentlemen.
Right? Ow! That back there is not real. But I am telling you, right? Ow!
The other dogs were getting
Back there is
uncanny
not
valley
real.
from the fake collie because they can smell the chemicals.
Her voice sounds like that dog would bark.
I want to meet that lady. I want to meet that lady.
We need to bring her on the show.
We need to bring her on the show. She's going to be famous. She should be more famous than that lady who threw the bra on stage at Drake, who got the contract with Playboy.
I sent you a video of the collie guy
From
that
the
he posted
article,
on
right?
Twitter.
Oh, is that
where
Twitter?
he literally scoots on his floor?
That guy doesn't. They haven't shown who that guy really is, have they?
No, he hasn't
Yeah.
shown himself.
He's got makes it a little bit.
I can't.
Allegedly, he doesn't want to tell anybody who he really is because he doesn't want to weird out his friends and family.
Yeah.
Which, well, I think they kind of suspected
accomplished.
already before.
It'd be like the great skit where like one day like he'll steal himself, he'll tell them, and they'll all be like, "We know, dude." Like
It's Vivek Ramaswamy.
Hey!
I can just tell by the way he's sitting there.
You can't tell me this isn't some kind of weird sexual fetish.
I don't know.
I mean, we know that regular furries are doing it for a fetish too, no matter how much they deny it.
I mean, it could just be something where it's a coping mechanism.
Why
It's a
are you
weird
defending
coping
these
mechanism.
people? Shut up.
I'm
You
not
sound crazy. Are you a closet furry?
Are
'Cause
you
I've been
that
saying
guy?
this.
Are you that guy?
I've been saying that.
Have you ever
Brett's a
seen
closet
that
furry.
collie and Brett in the room at the same time?
No.
Nope.
Coincidence? I think not.
Could be.
See, it's not really full on though, because you should get hair transplants and actually be full on in it. There are people who legitimately do tattoos and full on surgeries to be whatever the thing that they're trying to be. Just putting on a costume is
Not you're half-assing
You're not
it.
committing to the bit.
You're being a poser.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just cosplay or something.
It's also Japan. Japan is just
Yeah.
kind of weird in general. Yeah. Thoughts? Think we'll do this here? People will do this here?
They already do. They're called furries.
That's in New York. So
No.
it's already here.
No, that wasn't
The
New York.
collie is in
Was
New
the-
York.
Oh, the collie was in New
The
York.
wolf is in
the
Japan.
guy-
No, they're both Japanese.
They were both
Yeah.
Japanese.
Well, we don't
Yeah.
know. We have only the collie's word to go on. So
He could be lying.
I never met a collie that was worth its weight in poop. No
Well,
way.
the next step
They're
is
evil.
actually people who will do this. I mean, there's a girl in I think Carroll County in Maryland or something where she actually is, and even I think Montgomery County too, that is a cat, and they actually have a litter box there at the school for her.
See, that I don't encourage because
Yeah.
you're encouraging mental illness from somebody who, because they're trying to incorporate it into their everyday life. These stories seem like about as close to healthy as you can be with something like
But
this.
the next step is for that girl to probably wear the costume, get the cat costume.
As close to healthy as you can be with this is telling your therapist about it. Stopping.
Maybe
after
he
making
does.
a suit.
Burning your costume.
No, well then you need a new therapist.
Maybe he does.
Like, you know what you really need to do?
Maybe
is drop
seppukuing.
20 grand.
Hey, look, the thing is, there's going to be lots of money to be made on this because what will end up happening, both of these people have millions of dollars to be made by becoming NPC animal streamers, where they then say, ice cream, so good, except for it's like, dog food, so good. And they can make tons of money that way as well.
Did you guys see those videos?
No.
No?
The NPC streamers are women on TikTok live streams who, like, when they get a donation, they react to it, and it's like if the emoji is like ice cream, they're like, ice cream, so good.
Oh,
and
I've
they just
seen
do
those.
this. They
Yes.
repeat these taglines and these phrases for hours on end, and
Oh.
they're making thousands of dollars a day.
I saw that. I started to
we
question the
live in
future
hell.
of our country.
Heather, your
when
weekend
I-
is booked now.
There's there was the one that I saw yesterday where the lady was doing it, and then like they I'll just send it to you later. I don't think we can show it. We can't show it on here, but it's calling them out. But I'll show it to you later. These things will probably never go away because these types of stories always used to happen. It's just they would happen in the Inquirer, or they would happen, on smaller blogs. But now sites like the New York Post now understand that there's a lot of people.
This has probably
There's clicks.
been viewed a million times.
Yeah, exactly. Like these stories are, they're interesting enough where people can go have a roundtable discussion. Like nobody wants to talk about politics. Like maybe that's the good thing, right? We're worried about everybody arguing about politics. Maybe we need to get rid of that because people can't seem to have a civil discussion about politics. Anyways, stop talking about politics around the water cooler. Talk about the weird wolfman collie people around the water cooler. It's less dangerous for society.
Yeah, people are so desperate for attention
Yes.
that they are seeking anything that'll.
Somebody'd
give them
still find a way to be offended. Who are you to judge? What's going on? You're making fun of this person.
I'm
This
sure
person-
there's people in
It's
that
a perfectly
right
valid
now.
choice.
Brett's
like, don't judge them for
I
their
said
lifestyle
nothing.
choices.
I
His
said
pronouns are
nothing.
Lassie and Tin Tin Tin. And you
I
better
said
respect
nothing
that.
of the sort. I just made the argument to say, look, the guy's got a job, he's working, whatever. Who am I to
He should
tell this
lose
dude?
his job.
Who am I to tell him how to
He
live
should
his
be
life?
ostracized from society. He should be locked up in an asylum.
Go off.
I'm speaking on behalf of sanity.
Wrong.
People like this used to
Wrong.
be shamed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are
I mean,
you defending
We
this?
have
I'm
blurred.
actually like.
Thank you
Well,
for
now
bringing
I'm
it back
ready.
to my point that
Yeah.
we have obliterated the line between famous and infamous, and it's just about getting attention.
And is the question like, did these people reach out and ask for these articles to be written, or did somebody just see this happen and then be like, "Oh, that would be interesting"?
Well, they probably
to
saw
tell the
this
story?
weirdo fake
Yeah.
dog walking down the street going, what the hell is that? Took some pictures, and this
also,
person realized I better get out in front of this.
It comes back to the same
I would
argument
kick
we
it.
always make, that you care because you care about society going in a good direction and you want to save society. I just don't care. I just let it happen. Like, as long as the dog's not peeing on me, I guess I don't really care. If the dog pees on me, then I have a problem.
I would kick this if I saw it walking down the street.
then the really funny part was like, do you get arrested? Like, does animal control get involved? Do you
Yeah.
get arrested for animal cruelty or for hurting a human being?
Net him and throw him in a van.
Like,
Trans
take him to the
dogs
pound.
are dogs.
Bring these people to the pound because
I'm serious.
They
Like,
have nowhere else to go.
what if somebody kicked this dog thinking it was a real dog? They're just a bad person who went to kick a dog. They end up kicking a human being, and they're like, "Damn it, I'm going to go to jail."
Well, they'd
for
have the defense
assault.
that they're blind.
Yes.
So they wouldn't have to worry about it.
All right, let's go to Super Chats. Let's finish up here.
Quite Blackpilled said Tim Dillon had an all-time Lizzo take. 10 Lizzos working together. What did you expect? And she's made enough money off the pigs. Time to leave the barn. Time for Lizzo to get skinny and red-pilled. Doubt that's gonna happen. At this point, the Ninja said Jessica Simpson is a hard 6.
What? I mean, I don't know. Not back then. I thought she was very pretty back then.
Have you seen the recent photos of her?
Oh, she lost a bunch of weight again,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Yeah, she's pretty.
Grin said day 2 of MABGA, make American bullying great again. Thanks for the correction, Miss Morgan. Off to a great start with my protest. Yeah, we need to make bullying great again in this country.
Mary's saying bully
else we're gonna have
the
these
poor
people.
animals.
Kai said, I need the rebel yell, Phil. Phil isn't here. Who are you talking to?
He really wants to talk to Phil.
Okay. Disco Jensen said, we need a return to meritocracy in all facets of American culture. I blame the Marxist infiltration of education.
I agree. I don't know. Was that relevant to something we were talking about today?
I have no idea.
But thank you, and I do agree.
The Ninja said that 70s show holds up.
Thoughts?
Does it?
I know that people think that 90s show is awful. Like, that 90s show is apparently really, really bad.
What about the reboot of that 70s
That's
show?
what it is. It's called That
Yeah,
90s
yeah.
Show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's called That 90s. Apparently, it's really, really
No, but
bad.
I mean, I thought they have a show with the original cast.
It is. It's called That 90s Show.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I thought
it's
they
just-
made
they're
one
older
that
now.
90s show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shane H. Wilder said, can Monday's poll be who is worse, Cody or Bad App?
So we could do that. That's not very nice to the people in the chat. I don't really want to do that. We can maybe Mondays the poll's like which is worse, the collie or the wolfman.
Mm-hmm. Disco Jensen said, YouTube is not allowing me to super chat a warning. All I'm saying is the system hates us independent.
I do agree with that, and I think that what's funny is because YouTube makes a lot of money off independent content creators for how much they seem to hate them. I mean, that was all kind of encapsulated perfectly when they started giving ad preference to CNN and Fox and MSNBC, authoritative news sources at a time when we needed independent media more than ever. And there's a $20 one there from Vatican II, Electric Boogaloo. I like your name, my friend.
A first cause whose pure act purely simple, not composed of contingent parts, and intelligent enough to create a complex but ordered universe. Screw off. I don't believe in that made up nonsense. Little Gren men, so true.
Little green men, I'm guessing.
Green men?
That means, as far as aliens go, is the logic like, look, in a million galaxies and a million planets per galaxy, it's just hard to believe that there's not life on any other planet but ours, right?
I'm just questioning, why does the government want us to believe in aliens at this moment?
Well, yeah,
why is it convenient for them they want us to believe in aliens now rather than before when they denied it?
Yeah.
It's probably for a bad reason. Disco Jensen said, collect physical media while you still can.
Yeah, one thing that I've stopped doing, unfortunately, like I've kind of fallen off that. I left all my media at, I didn't bring it with me when I moved out here. And one thing that a streaming service could do, if they really, really wanted to build something that I would love to watch, would be one, they'd have to make a commitment as part of their branding to be like, look, we're not going to change the material. Maybe it's one that has to do only licensed content. So it's like, we're only going to take shows if they agree to not give us the edited versions. Also get the audio commentaries. I want I know one of the big losses on streaming services is you don't get the great audio commentaries that
No, you
come
don't get
with
the
movies.
bonus content either.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if you purchase something on iTunes for $1 more, maybe you could, since they can put them on, a lot of them on a Blu-ray now,
Yeah.
you get 10, you can put 10 movies on a Blu-ray, you can order it for $1 more. Since you've already purchased the IP, you have it.
That'd be great.
Then you'd have it there.
And it's like, the thing is, like, you can go, like, the bonus features end up on the internet because that, you know, they ended up on like the Warner Brothers YouTube channel or whatever, but they can't put the audio commentaries there because that's the full movie. I want one of these streaming services to actually offer the full audio commentary that they make for, and not just the one that comes out on the original. I want the 20th anniversary audio commentary where they just say the same thing, only more tired and slightly older and more depressed. I want them all. I love those.
C2 Gaming said, have some monies from a hard and long work week. Missed most of the shows, sadly. Hope it was a fun week. We need Beauty and the Geek back. Shout out to the Discord, particularly Andrina and Marie. Winky face. Okay, I don't know what that means.
I disavow. I don't know what the last part means, but yes. And thank you for that. Hopefully you get a chance to watch next week.
Corey Anderson, I'm not going to read either of those. Shane H. Wilder said, why does this video sound like a kid trying to invite someone over for a sleepover and failing badly?
Come hang out with us, says Gwyneth Paltrow. Come hang out with me and my husband.
Disco Jensen said, the city girls going to book and turn up. If they don't vet, it could be headlines. Yeah, the city girls trips are never pretty. Benrick5 said, can we agree that celebs have lost so much credibility? They aren't nearly as famous as they think they are. Maybe shut up and act.
I actually do think they're as famous as they think they are most of the time. I mean, the big name ones. Gwyneth Paltrow is still very, very famous. Whether people like it or not, they're still very, very famous. It's just that does that really matter to you or I, who just don't have that cult of worship around these people?
I'm thankful for social media showing who these people are.
Yeah. Well, you're saying, like, back in the day, you would have never known this about them because they wouldn't have had the platform to tell you how. I mean, the publicists and people that were responsible for a star's image worked overtime to make sure that they didn't say stupid things all the time. Now they just
the job was to keep things out of the paper.
Yeah, the publicist was to tell you no. Now they have, like, probably somebody who lives in their house who is their social media content creator who's constantly going, no, we need more stuff get more traffic.
Yeah.
So more likes.
Gwyneth Paltrow's just looking at somebody, like, hold the phone and record them, and she's just like, is it on? Is it on?
Yeah. Jamie Bags 86 asked us thoughts on the term unhoused replacing homeless.
Stupid.
Oh my God.
Unbelievably stupid.
I have a friend who lives in San Francisco, and was talking to him a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about being attacked by a homeless guy, and he kept saying unhoused, and it's like, John, this is a safe space. We're on the phone. You can talk like a normal human being. Like, my God, you grew
I'm
up
sure
in Detroit.
homeless people's biggest problem is people
right.
calling them homeless.
How dare you, sir? How dare you?
Not the fact that they're homeless.
Person without home will be next.
I am not a junkie. I am an abuser of substances against my will, and I am unhoused.
That's what I said back.
I challenge you to a duel.
Before I went to rehab, Mary, what I would say is I'm not an addict. I'm simply someone who partakes too much.
Yes.
That's what I said.
Disco Jensen said crisis party, and then Surenko Productions said crisis party.
It did work that time, guys. I believe it was Disco Jensen's that made it happen. So thank you to both of you.
Kenamono said Olivia has spoken.
Thank you.
That she did. Shane H. Wilder said, I would like to announce an Airbnb stay at my apartment where you will enjoy TV, chrism-scented candles, and a deep freezer full of choice meats and fish from the highly exclusive Sam's Club.
See, I like the idea of somebody doing...
delicious.
Yeah.
I like the idea of somebody doing, like, their own version of this, where it's just like, okay, it's that, but for regular people. Like, you can come, like, sure, it's on the street parking, but, like...
I thought the Airbnb experience was also so that they left... Like, she's not even leaving. Like,
what is a separate house? There are some of them that, like, you can rent a bedroom. That's really awkward. That's like,
what if you win and then you say, like, could you just let me stay in the house alone? Like, I'd rather.
She's like, I'm not leaving you alone with my possessions.
You got to figure that they're going to have a film crew trying to document this moment for Airbnb's advertising purposes.
Well,
but what if the people are like, Gwyneth, we don't want to have dinner with you. I don't want to see you. Get out, please. I've paid good money,
could
nothing
you serve us
for
the
this
dinner,
room.
Actually,
I want nothing to do with you. I'm going by the pool. By the way, I invited 80 friends over. They followed my phone, and we're all nudists, so we're going in the pool. Actually, she might like that.
There's just 500 security cameras everywhere, and like all the lamps are like zip tied down, so you can't take. They all like if you pick it up, an alarm goes off.
Corey Anderson said, when is there going to be a PCC meetup?
I don't know. That could be something that could maybe be thought of, but we'd maybe have to organize that through Timcast.
We wouldn't really be in charge of that.
Yeah.
Sorenko Productions said, I'm telling you right now, that dog is not real.
It's not real. It's not real.
Benrick5 said, I lived in Japan for 3 years. The culture is half old school conservative and the other half is only worried about their hair and looks. No, so makes sense.
It's just that the hair and looks that they're worried about are that of a dog, not that of a human.
Maybe he's really old.
Shane H. Wilder said, I'm with Mary. I would kick it.
There you go.
Thank you. Someone agrees with me.
As usual, the chat takes Mary's side on this one. That's fine. All right, guys, before we go, would you hit the like button on this video and would you subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already? Thank you very much for that. Derek, my friend, would you like to shout anything out?
Help. No, I've been locked in this room in my hotel. No, go to patreon.com/DerekHunterPodcast. You hear the week in effing review. The news talked about the way it deserves to be talked about.
Perfect. Heather.
You can find me on Twitter at HeatherHunterDC.
All right. Mary, where can they find you?
You can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on Twitter or X. That is also Mary Archived.
Perfect. Guys, if you want to follow me, Instagram and X, formerly known as Twitter from Elon Musk, at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. Pop Culture Crisis is here Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. If you would like to listen to this podcast, we are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you'd like to follow the show on social media, we are on Twitter, now known as X, from Elon Musk, at PopCulture_show, Facebook and TikTok, at Pop Culture Crisis, and on Instagram, at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. We'll be back with another episode on Monday. We'll see you then, guys.
Bye.
Later.
Bye.
Wait, so you're telling me 73% of our audience doesn't want to hang out with Gwyneth Paltrow?
Oh.
What?